In a realm where shadows dance with light, through the whispering woods at night, secrets echo through the air, meta mysteries everywhere. Voices drift on winds untamed, words like spells that can't be named. Close your eyes and feel the sound, journey where no bounds are found. Open doors inside your mind, leave the ordinary far behind. Colors swirl and stars align, in the meta mysteries you'll find.
Welcome to Meta Mysteries, where you don't know what you don't know. My name's Jonathan.
I'm Sean.
And today is Wonder Wiz Day. This
Live
is
day, baby.
This is live Wonder Wiz Day. For anybody that is interested in joining us Wednesday nights to get all types of weird and metaphysical and spiritual and deeper esoteric knowledge and just deeper overall understanding of this matrix that we live in, this dream world. Maybe it's a simulation. I don't know. It's definitely not the physical reality that we grew up thinking that it was.
You know, when it comes to the Matrix, dude, I feel like that's what it is. I feel like we all have our own Matrix going on. You know, like, sure, there is one physical reality happening all at once right now, but I feel like we all have our own Matrix that we need to break free of.
100%.
I was thinking about this just today.
Yeah, well, and I think that the topic that we're going to be getting into today is going to do a lot to kind of try and wrap your mind around this world not being what you thought it was, and everybody experiences it. Well, almost everybody. We're going to be talking a little bit about deja vu, baby.
Yes, dude. Yes. I wonder if deja vu is something that happens more often, like if you're not smoking weed, you know what I mean? Or if you have had your awakening, because I remember having it even growing up as a kid, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know. I wonder about these things.
Well, and that's what's so fascinating about it is that, you know, all right, you could say, well, you know, a human or a grown-up is going to go through that more often than a kid because a grown-up has more life experiences. However, I remember getting deja vu all the time whenever I was little. So what's that all about?
Yeah.
You know?
And what decisions would you have had to make if we're going along with the hypothesis that you had come up with as far as coming to a crossroads, you know, and maybe there's a different decision I need to make right now, you know, but like what other decision could you have possibly needed to have made as a child, you know, if that were the case? I mean, yeah,
it's really cool. But yeah, for anybody that wants to be involved in these conversations, come check us out over at patreon.com/metamysteries. That is in the show notes of every episode. And if you want to be a part of those conversations, please feel free. I mean, we've talked about how we have special guests come on. We've had Cassandra, Lord Byron, Electro Nick, the list goes on and on of people that we try and get onto the live episodes. And especially now more so because we're going to be going to 2 episodes a week. 3 was just, it was kind of putting us in a chokehold there for a little bit, just as far as time goes. Me with all the other shows that I got to shoot. Sean, now that he has like a different job that asks a little bit more of not only his body, but of his mind as well, right?
Yep. Yep.
So the best way to be able to support us is to go to patreon.com/metamysteries. That's in the show notes. But yeah, I think that we're going to start working on trying to get, you know, we love the shows where we're diving into stuff. So it's not going to be a guest or something like that every episode because, you know, and we had talked about trying to get Optimistic Banks for this live show. And I was like, you know what? There's always a couple of things that I have on my mind as far as like, you know, possible show ideas, some things that I personally want to learn a little bit more. And sometimes those are best whenever it's just me and you and the one.
Right. Oh yeah, no, I agree. And usually whenever you come up with these good ideas, dude, I'm like, and we were just talking about the whole deja vu thing, I believe, in the last live show. And so I'm really excited to be covering this topic because it's just one of those topics that, like you said, it happens to all of us, or at least most of us. And so Yeah, dude, let's figure this out.
Yeah, I found, and we're going to get into it, but supposedly deja vu only happens to 75% of people. That means, and that sounds like a pretty high number for that amount of people. I mean, you think about all the people in the world, 75% of them, that's a shitload of people. But what else is a shitload is, imagine you're trying to explain that you had deja vu to somebody who has never experienced deja vu. They're going to think you're going crazy.
Yeah, that is a trip. I wonder how they came up with those numbers. You know what I mean? Like, how do they know 25% of people don't experience it?
I never know how they come up with a lot of the polls that they come up with. You know, like that's why for the election, the polls are always wrong, like leading up to the election, because it's all speculation. And so they're never even right in that matter either. So polls are just, they're kind of a skewed way of taking a group of 1,000 people or 100 people and what percentage of that, you know, so it very well could be more or less than 75% of people in the world that experience deja vu. But I mean, how are you going to ask everybody, you know?
That's pretty interesting though, what you said there, as far as like trying to explain deja vu to somebody that has never experienced it. You're like, well, it's kind of like, you know, you come to this moment in time where you feel like you've been there before and you've done this already, and they're like, what? That's going to make no sense to them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I've said before about how my dad has never had a dream in his life. Not once. Never experienced a dream. And I just asked him, I'm like, so was there a part of your a portion of your lifetime that like you just questioned if people were just making up these stories or what? And he goes, no, I mean, it's portrayed in movies. People have dreams, so it's not like anything that crazy. And also, I mean, to be honest, why would somebody lie about a dream? You can't prove it anyway. You know, like there's no way of proving it. You're the only one that was there, at least in this dimension.
Yeah. That's super strange, though. Even for the people that have never experienced deja vu, like, what is it that's going on to that person specifically that is just inhibiting them of having these experiences?
Well, that's what we're going to get into a little bit today. We got some articles, we got some videos. I had to get Bashar's take on it. I had to get Dolores Cannon's take on it. So we have a little bit of that towards the end. But this is going to be very fun. But before we do get to those, the resident Canadian in the mud said, what is up to the one making hump days great again? You know it.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're trying. We're trying.
Hump days, yes. You remember that? What was it? A Geico commercial with Mike. It's hump day.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
I don't know if it was Geico, but yeah, I remember that shit.
Something like that. And then the white boy wizard said, "What up, you gorgeous motherfuckers?" I think he's talking about you, Sean.
I think so too. Yeah, right.
100%.
There's confirmation. We needed it.
I always need it.
So, all right, what are we talking about with deja vu today? So I wanted to get all different aspects and angles on this topic as humanly possible. The scientific explanation, the religious explanation, the spiritual explanation, the metaphysical explanation. Let's try and break it down from every angle. And typically, you know, if something vibes with you, this is my own personal, maybe this is the wrong scientific method, but typically, at least spiritually, if something vibes with me, it kind of rings true to me. So if I'm reading something and I'm like, oh, damn, that sounds awesome, or it sounds right, or it sounds familiar, then to me, spiritually, that's kind of how I gain meaning from that. It's not necessarily...
Go ahead, dude. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just going to say it's not like my opinions on certain things are not necessarily predicated on others' opinions or beliefs, you know, that kind of thing. And I think that that's like one of the main aspects of trying to live this spiritual kind of aware type of life is not necessarily just believing what somebody else tells you. Like it's more of a, all right, I hear what you're saying. Now let me try and see once I discover that if that resonates with me, like kind of use it as like a comparison board, you know?
Right. I mean, and especially when it comes to these types of things, you know, like deja vu, it's something that maybe we'll never quite fully understand, like the absolute truth of what that is. You know what I'm saying? But if you can take something for yourself, and you know, the opinion that you have in it, and if it's going to serve you, then that's what you should be doing, you know, like the placebo.
Yeah. I mean, it's all up to the interpreter and how you're going to experience that. That's why it's important to kind of differentiate. Like Sean, I know you're an only child, but most people, they have brothers or sisters or both or whatever, right? And that same kid that you grew up with, your brother or your sister, is going to have a completely different life, as a grown-up adult compared to you, even though you experienced a lot of the same thing, and it's all about just that different perspective. How did you perceive it in the time that it was happening, and how did it have that kind of effect on you? And I think that all this is entirely, it's mental and spiritual. Like it has to be a bit of both. So let's get the scientific understanding, which is going to be, I'm just going to throw it out there. It's going to be the lamest explanation you've ever heard for deja vu.
Expectations are low, so let's do it.
Good. So this is from verywellmind.com. And I'm not just going to sit here and just easily dismiss the scientific understanding behind these concepts. You factor it in, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the be all end all as far as your understanding of it. Yep. So I do think that it has its compartment of importance.
For sure.
So deja vu, its meaning and why we experience it. What we know about this odd phenomenon. Deja vu is a sense of having already seen something you're currently seeing or experiencing, coupled with knowing you haven't actually seen it, which is why it catches many people so off guard. It is thought to be an equivalent of a small brain glitch with two streams of thought colliding. The phase literally translated from French to mean already seen. That's what deja vu means. I didn't know that.
I like it.
It says, it is an incredibly common experience. Something upwards of 97% of people are thought to have experienced deja vu at least once. This is where I got it mixed up. So 97% of people have experienced it, with more than 2/3 of people experiencing it with some regularity. So,
okay. All right.
Yeah, that's where the 75.
Most people do experience it then.
Most people do experience it. Some people experience it more so than others.
Okay. All right.
So, St. Augustine, an ancient philosopher, first referred to the concept of deja vu in 400 AD, which he labeled it as false mémoire. But French philosopher Émile Bourrac was the first to use the term deja vu in 1890. The first of the phrase in the scientific world was from F.L. Arnault, a neurologist who proposed to use it at a meeting of the Society of Psychological Medicine in French. It says early research showed promise for deja vu to be a sign that helped doctors diagnose epilepsy, but more recent research has shown it may be a matter of perception or memory.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it is what it is. Okay.
Sure. Look, you have to put it into a scientific department. Like if you're a scientist and you're dealing in physics and you're dealing with biology, it has to go into a compartment that is
a very logical compartment
in a way that science can explain it. So I'm not necessarily, shitting on them for having this opinion. It's just that, eventually we'll get back to a point where science and spiritual and the ether and all that stuff is all grouped into one thing. Hopefully we get back there. It was that way at first. That's where you had alchemy. I don't know. We've kind of fallen away from that, but hopefully we do get it back. So how does deja vu happen? It says, it is believed that deja vu may be the result of two different streams of awareness colliding, the experience of recognizing a current situation alongside the feeling that this is an inaccurate recollection. A key feature is that the person realizes that they have not actually seen this before. Sometimes what happens is really a matter of split perception, and someone is processing a sight twice because they may have been distracted or their vision was obstructed for some reason.
I don't buy that at all.
No, I don't think so. The second perception, immediately after the first one, becomes one that is consciously experienced, but it feels unfamiliar because we are not cognizant of the first experience, which we only partially processed. I'm a little bit.
Like that at all. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little bit more open to the second one, but
I
Yeah.
mean, we sit here and do these live shows, and a lot of the same people show up every time. And I don't think I've ever had a deja vu during one of these. It wasn't like, oh, I've done this before kind of thing. I think that's
No.
kind of what they're trying to say. It's like you've done something similar, and so now you're only consciously aware that you've experienced this before. And no, it doesn't feel like that because there's a feeling attached to this thing.
I mean, dude,
what
they
I'm saying?
talk about how, and some of the best examples of deja vu, and which would disprove their theories or their thesis or whatever on this, is that sometimes you'll go and let's say you go on a vacation to somewhere brand new that you've never been before. Let's just say you throw a dart on the map and you just say, I'm just going to go wherever that dart lands. And somehow, some way, that dart lands on Baghdad. Okay. You've never been there. You probably never thought about going there. And your entire perception of Baghdad was that it was a war zone. But what happens whenever you go to Baghdad? And I don't really know too much about Baghdad. I just kind of threw it out as an example. But what happens if you were to go to Baghdad and you were to go into a city? And that city is amazing. It has all your favorite stores. Everything is so cheap because of the conversion rate and all that kind of stuff. I don't know this. This is just a contrived example. But let's say you go there, and then as you're in the middle of the town, walking down the street with all the different stores that you didn't know Baghdad had, bang, you get a deja vu.
Right.
What's that about?
You've definitely not done that before. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for
there's no
sure.
way. And usually when a deja vu hits, and then you're like, oh shit, deja vu, right? And you're looking around, and then someone says something, and you're like, and that, and then someone else says something, and you're like, and that too, like, and it kind of goes for a little bit. It's like everything that's happening is just like so perfect.
Oh, dude,
perfect.
it's like Dorothy waking up. I just had the weirdest dream, and you were there, and you were there, and you were there.
Right. Yep.
It's like, and they have no memory of it, so it's not I don't know. Anyway,
Right.
so there are types of deja vu, they say. It says, though the actual feeling of deja vu is the same across people with healthy brains and those with neurological conditions, different things are happening in the brain during each of these types. So those who do experience it more regularly show less gray matter than those who don't. Oh, less gray matter. That's interesting.
Yeah, we learned a little bit about gray matter, right?
Right. Well, and wasn't it that gray matter see, I thought that gray matter was where the consciousness was possibly residing.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I think we were looking into it, and it had something to do with like Alzheimer's, and if your gray matter goes away, then you're more susceptible to that, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that.
I remember talking about it. I just don't remember what we said about gray matter. But anyway, it says gray matter is the outermost layer of the brain. It is responsible for controlling movement, memory, and emotions.
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right.
Typically, the more gray matter in the brain, the more gray matter the brain has, the more effective it is. So they're saying that if you're having regular deja vu, you have less gray matter, and therefore your brain is less effective if you're having more gray matter, or if you're having less gray matter, more deja vu. So somebody who experiences deja vu regularly is going to have less gray matter and kind of like a less healthy brain from a scientific perspective.
I don't know, man, because I mean, you were saying earlier, and I think I remember having them as well as a child, and as a child, I imagine we had pretty healthy brains. So I don't know where they get this stuff. So
I don't know. At a certain point, I think they just make a lot of this shit up.
Right. It's not like they're studying somebody right in the moment of having a deja vu to be like, oh, that's the part of the brain that's responsible for your deja vu that you are currently having, and it's on our screen, and we're reading you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just no way.
I mean, exactly. How are you going to monitor that? You're going to hook brain nodes up to somebody's brain all day for months until they possibly have a deja vu? Like, it happens at random. It's not something, as a matter of fact, it's actually the last thing on your mind whenever you do have it. So you can't even think it into existence. It's not even like something that you can manifest, really. Maybe it starts happening a little bit more once you become more perceptually aware and, more meditative, and you're becoming more aware of your dreams. Maybe there's something there. But either way, it says in those with neurological conditions, 3 parts of the brain are impacted: the hippocampus, the parahippocampal gyrus, gyrus, anyway, and temporal neocortex, areas that are associated with forming and retaining memories. For those with epilepsy and deja vu, alterations in memory circuitry have been observed. Meanwhile, alterations in emotional circuitry are seen in healthy individuals experiencing deja vu. So deja vu is thought to be perhaps abnormal signaling within the medial temporal lobe, which governs memory processing, particularly visual memories. The conditions that might experience more deja vu than those with a healthy brain. So they're already saying you got deja vu, you're clearly fucked in the head.
Right. Yeah.
So
we're all fucked.
I mean, sure. So the conditions, if you don't have the healthy brain, could be schizophrenia, epilepsy, anxiety, and vascular dementia. I can tell you right now, I don't have any of those.
Right. I mean, the one thing I can say is that, the brain is very complex. And I mean, who's to say that there's, not a sliver of chance that your brain is just kind of malfunctioning a little bit to tell you you've seen something already. But I don't know, man. I just don't know.
That's like saying, well, you dream every night. Clearly, you're less intelligent. It's
something's
like,
wrong with you.
What? What are you saying? So then it says the term deja vu is one of the most frequently used to capture these types of experiences, but there are actually many more of these phenomena. Some other types you might experience, there's a bunch of dejas that I never heard of.
Oh, okay.
So deja intendu, which is already heard, deja éprouvé, which is already experienced, deja fait, which is already done, deja pense, which is already thought, deja raconte, which is already recounted, deja senti, having already felt emotionally or already smelled. Oh, I wouldn't think that you'd get some kind of deja vu if you already smelled something, but I don't know. You think back to so my grandmother on my dad's side is no longer around, right? Like she died 15 years ago, and and she had such a distinct perfume. Like she was the only one that wore this one perfume, and every so often I'll get a little whiff of it. So maybe that would be the deja smell.
Right. But I would say that deja vu is like a mixture of all of the above. You know what I mean? Maybe not necessarily the smell one, but whenever it's a deja vu, it's something you've seen. You're experiencing that moment. You're seeing things. You're someone saying something, so you're hearing somebody say something. So it's kind of like all of these things. I didn't even know that they split them up like this.
I didn't either until literally right now. But so then there's deja su, which is already known or having the knowledge of, deja trouvé, which is already found, deja vécu, which is already lived through, deja voulu, which is already wanted. Okay. I would like to dive into that one a little bit more. And then there's deja rêvé, which is already dreamed. So if you're experiencing, that's a really cool one. We're going to get into that one a little bit today.
For sure.
Deja rêvé, which is fucking awesome. That's like a premonition at that point.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
So what causes the deja vu feeling? It says, though most times deja vu is not a sign of anything serious, such as a mental illness, there are some possible factors that you might want to pay attention to if an episode of deja vu are making you uncomfortable. I've never felt uncomfortable from that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it always makes me kind of just feel like, oh shit. I don't know, it's kind of a fun feeling, I think.
Yeah, it's super fun. I get excited every time I get one.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit, you want to see how long it goes, and usually it's not very long, but sometimes it'll go for 30 seconds or maybe that long, and it's like, whoa, that whole moment was just like a replay. So
yeah,
cool, man.
yeah, it's super cool. It feels like a spiritual thing that's going on too, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like, oh, that's just my brain malfunctioning. There's that spiritual hue around it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, dude. Yes.
So some people say, well, maybe it is due to stress and fatigue. You're just tired. That's why your brain is miscalculating and giving you a memory of something that never happened.
Right.
So it says people who are tired and or stressed often report episodes of deja vu. This is thought to be because fatigue and stress typically affect both long and short-term memory. It probably does affect your short-term and your long-term memory if you're tired. I know that if I'm tired, I can't think of certain words that I want to say, But to say that has some kind of effect on deja vu, I don't know.
I don't know. Deja vu is some extra shit, man.
Because they're so sporadic. I mean, it's hard to say, well, every single time I've had deja vu, I've been tired, or stressed or something like that.
I don't think that's the case every time. No way.
No way. Well, another example or another hypothesis is excess dopamine. It says a hypothesis that that excess amounts of dopamine may be implicated in experiences of deja vu. In studies of temporal lobe epilepsy, the research shows that elevated levels of dopamine were detected in rodent models of temporal lobe epilepsy. One strange case of deja vu was the use of the flu medications amantadine and Proin. That's a long word. A man who took this combination of medications to treat an infection of the flu began experiencing several episodes of deja vu per hour. Whoa.
Okay, that's a little something extra.
Hook me up with that medicine, baby.
You know what we need to do, man? Once we get our dream journal going, we should, every time we have a deja vu, just whip that thing out and like write down every detail as far as like maybe what was happening, but maybe that's not necessarily as important, but write down how you're feeling, your energy level, and like what's your thought process? Is there something you're worried about? Is there, you know what I mean? And just kind of maybe like 5 or 6 little different things. And that way we can keep track of whenever we do have a deja vu and see if there's any correlation with any of those things, like what's the one thing that's like always the common denominator throughout.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. To try and see if something correlates with another thing.
Yeah. I think that's probably going to be the only way to really find out exactly like what's the one thing that seems to be the always present during a deja vu.
What's the triggering factor potentially?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So anyway, he was experiencing this deja vu several times per hour, which stopped upon him discounting these medications or discontinuing these medications. So I'm gonna just bookmark this page and try and see if I can find me some of that shit.
What that is?
I
don't know if I would want to have a deja vu several times an hour. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, just for a day. Just for one day. I just need it for one day. I just want to experience it. Maybe I'll do it once every couple of months. It'll be like the new DMT.
They call me deja vu man.
Yeah. I've seen this before. And I've seen this before. Both of these medications, among their flu symptom reducing properties, work on the dopamine system, and it is thought that these deja vu episodes were caused by an excess of dopamine in the system. Epilepsy research shows that parts of the brain, including the hippocampus, are related to dysmensic symptoms, which is impaired memory symptoms. So, I don't know. I think, so here's the deal. Scientifically, it has to break it down to the physical part of what's going on. And I do understand that. Right. And maybe there is excess dopamine going on. Maybe it is stress related. Maybe it is this or that related. But the question for me is, how does this action cause this reaction? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, I can see that there's a connection there possibly, but why does this inhibit that? Of all things, you would think, all right, well, this guy just took some flu medicine. You'd be like, all right, well, maybe he just gets more tired. Maybe he reacts in some kind of physical way. But why is it deja vu though?
Right.
You know,
that's like the weirdest side effect I've ever heard of. You know.
Yeah, it's so strange. It's like, well, I knew this one witch one time, and every time she ate a piece of mugwort, she turned into a bird. And it's like, that's the scientific explanation as to why people turn into birds. It's like, but why?
But why a bird?
But why a bird? Why not a deer? Why not just keep her same shape? You know what I'm saying? Right. Like,
no, yeah, for sure. And we can't even fault them for having these types of explanations. And it's kind of all over the board as far as what part of the brain it is. I mean, they listed how many parts of the brain that's possibly from gray matter to whatever it is. So many different parts of the brain that they're saying is responsible for deja vu, but. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like if they knew, there would be at least just one part of the brain that's like, okay, we figured it out type of thing. But, they can't go into the spiritual. They can't go into these off-the-wall types of explanations. And they're kind of limited to what they have. So it's not even their fault, but
Sure. I mean,
maybe some scientists will go out there, and try to solve these things scientifically and spiritually.
sure, you would like to think so. So check this. As far as egregiousness goes, check this. So who gets deja vu? Remember earlier it said if you're experiencing deja vu regularly, then you have less gray matter, which would lead you to be less intelligent, right? That's what it was saying.
Right.
Now it's saying, while anyone can experience deja vu, those who experience it multiple times share some characteristics, according to research. Okay. So if you get deja vu a lot, you probably have a high income.
Oh, okay.
So you rich, Sean? You getting this all the time, dude?
All right. Well, I'm not rich yet, so I'll let you know.
Not yet. Well, I am already. It just hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Then, you might be well educated. Did you go and get a doctorate degree from Yale or something like that?
No, not yet. It's on the list. Just hasn't happened yet.
Well, maybe you're a frequent traveler. Do you get on an airplane and fly to different countries often?
You know what? It's funny. I've actually never been on an airplane, not once.
That's why I said that.
This is the year, though. I think.
This is the year. How about this one? Those who remember their dreams. That, I think, is the only logical thing that they can attribute here.
Yeah. That's the only one I kind of like.
How about this one? This one is probably the funniest example out of all of them. You're more than likely to experience deja vu regularly if you are politically liberal.
What?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Right, what is this? What are we reading here?
I guess I just got to go back to blue no matter who, baby, and I can experience more deja vu. That's so silly. And then it says the most people would experience that between the ages of 15 and 25. We both exceed that. We're still experiencing it somewhat regularly, I'd say.
Yeah. I would say at least once a month or so, something like that.
So how about this one? Should I see a doctor for deja vu?
Not if they have no idea what's causing it,
Well, these are the people that say, well, maybe it's because you have some kind of neurological conditions like epilepsy. Maybe it's you're getting seizures regularly. Just weird shit like that. So anyway, that is science's explanation of deja vu, which I honestly just brought to the table to kind of get a good laugh from.
Right. And by the way, if you are having seizures regularly, you probably should go to the doctor, by the way.
Yeah, you probably should. Yeah, I would say that. So this is probably one of the coolest websites that I found in order to kind of describe and break down what is going on in deja vu. But before we do, there's a couple of messages that I wanted to get to as far as the one out there that are possibly sharing some examples. The resident Canadian in the mud said he's been experiencing deja vu hard since I was a kid. Truly believe it has something to do with past lives.
Oh, all right.
Or parallel lives. That's a possibility too. Or alternate dimensions. Or, I think that you can really group all of that in on the same thing.
Absolutely.
Taylor said, same. However, I'm really feeling the idea of concurrent lives and how you may be tapping into another timeline at that deja vu moment. All super interesting.
Yep.
I'm with that. I'm
already liking these explanations way better.
Yeah, you're doing a better job than science. Just want to say that.
You're crushing it.
Then the white boy wizard said, I'm with you in that. I've had deja vu in all the most crazy places and situations. Love it, though. And then white boy wizard said, healthy gray matter from healthy cholesterol. Y'all need to get up in this tallow game to fix your brain. Dude, I've been hearing nothing but awesome shit about beef tallow.
Oh, right.
Tell us a little bit about that there, Tej. First of all, where are you getting the tallow and how exactly are you applying that? And have you found any kind of, even like some physical differences ever since you've been taking it? Or I'll go fuck myself. No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck yourself. Oh, damn it. I've been fucking muted the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Anyways, I started taking tallow and like switched to raw milk roughly at the same time because I was having lots of gut problems. And this was probably like 3 years ago, maybe. Anyways, I get it I get it from theungovernableproject.com, and I have my own code there or whatever. If you just do tallow for life, you get 10% off whatever your order is.
Hell
But,
yeah, shameless
yeah,
plug. Go ahead, man.
so
I'd love it. I'll use it for sure.
No, it's I cook everything in it, dude. I cook my deer, my elk, my moose, my beef, like my French fries. We do meatballs all the time. We fry them in that. Like, it's so good, and it's such a good product. I can make like 4 or 5, 6 batches of fries with the same pan of oil.
Oh,
Nice.
is it kind of? I hear it's kind of expensive though, isn't it?
It can be. I buy it. Well, I was buying it by the gallon, but he had a bunch of them get broke in the mail, so I don't think he's gonna be doing them anymore. So I mean, if you're doing big shit like doing a bunch of fries, quite often, yes, it can definitely get spendy, but it's so much better, for your brain and just all your skin, like your complexion, all of it, dude. Like tallow is so good for so many things in your body.
Yeah, that's what you were saying is that it was really a big help for your gut health. And I personally have always had issues with gut health wise, which is why anytime I have like some serious gastrointestinal or any kind of gut problems where I feel like I'm really bogged down, magnesium is usually my go-to. But I would imagine beef tallow, it's probably a more natural, probably a little bit more natural way, right?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I was going to say you need to get some raw milk too, because those two are like, I swear, the only thing that has healed my gut.
All right. Get your healthy cholesterol.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. What was the name of that website again?
theungovernableproject.com.
The Ungovernable Project. Babe, write that down.
You can trust it,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, so the dude who runs it is like the only other conspiracy theorist on the internet that I know that's crazier than me. So he's become one of my good buddies. Yeah, his name's Anthony Griffeo. He's a fucking stud. But that tallow product is literally the best I've ever tried. And you can also get they make different creams for your skin or like sunscreen or whatever. They got some badass shit on there.
Hell yeah. You were talking about elk and all this. You go and get your own meat?
Oh yes, sir. I come from a long line of hunters. I just barely started my own harvesting like 3 years ago. November 22nd of 22 was my first harvest, and I started with a moose, and then didn't get anything last year, and went out, and then I've got a couple elk and a couple deer since then. So yeah, buddy. One of my uncles was a what do you call it? The freaking chopper upper guy. A butcher,
oh, the butcher.
Fred Meyer, for like 30 years. So he retired from doing that. So he taught me the best, quickest, most efficient. Like, yeah, dude, I love it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Get your own meat, get the tallow, and get raw beef. And you guys, like, within 90 days of being on a diet like that, I guarantee you'll feel so much better, bro.
Yeah, dude. And I feel like, for the longest time, I always felt like kind of bad, like to hunt an animal. But now, like, I'm looking at it way differently as far as like when you go and get your own meat. I feel like that's an even more spiritual way to do it.
Dude, it made me bawl my eyes out, man. My first kill, like I said, was the moose, and like
got yourself a bullwinkle.
Yeah, dude, everybody knows how big they are. Until you shoot one and you're like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I love
what
you.
Did I
take
just
it
do?
back. Oh shit, I can't take it back. What do I do?
My bad.
But the meat's so good, and I just said a prayer over it. Now every time I go out, I always do the same thing, and every time I've gone out, I've been successful. I didn't get any tags last year, is why I didn't get anything. So every tag I've got, I've been able to fill, and I am super grateful for it.
And how amazing is it that it seems like the food responds to positivity in prayer or something like that over it, and that's why
believe that's a thing.
Yeah, 100%. It has to. Like, that's why we actually don't eat out a lot. Like, typically, we might eat out once every 2 weeks or something like that. And that's probably even pushing it. But typically, we like to eat the homemade meals. And I'll tell you what, dude, my wife's cooking. I know she's putting a little love in that. She's trying to nourish our souls. You know what I mean? So there's something a little bit better to that. I will say it has made me quite the chunky monkey. So we're working on that.
We like that thickness, though. It's all good, baby girl.
That's just that hibernation meat right there, baby.
Right.
But we did just start keto, and we just started working out in the gym yesterday. We did it 2 days in a row now. We're on a roll.
Shit, you're doing it.
Doing it. We feel good, too. It's amazing how much more energy you get once you start eating better and start getting active. Like your brain works better.
Oh, it absolutely does, dude. Like I'm feeling a lot clearer tonight, actually. As a matter of fact, like I barely ate like an hour ago, and so I waited all day to eat, and I'm just at work, like walking and doing my thing all day long. And dude, I feel pretty damn good today.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Since I started that job, dude, I think I've lost like 15 or 18 pounds or some shit like that, dude.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good shit, man. But anyway, let's get back over to the chat. Also a killer album by Brand New. Oh, Deja Intendu. Okay. Oh, that's what the album name is. Gotcha. I'll have to check it out. The White Boy Wizard also said high intuition equals frequent deja vu.
I buy it.
That checks out. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
The resident Canadian, the Mud, said, imagine going to a doctor for deja vu. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
No one's doing that.
And the White Boy Wizard agrees, Sean. Well, not necessarily agrees, but he says, I fucking hate airplanes. I'm not a huge fan of them either, but you know what I hate more than airplanes is getting in a car for 20 hours. That sucks more. Big time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was the worst, dude. When we drove from Arizona over to your house in Pennsylvania, dude, it was cool. We had a PlayStation in the back of the van, so that was cool. We were playing like Road Rash and shit like that.
Hell yeah,
dude, that was so miserable, dude. So uncomfortable.
I know. It's so crammed and everybody smells the same, which is like, you know what I mean? Right. Like it's just one person farts. That's all you need.
Together. Right.
Yeah. The resident Canadian said, I'm dumb and broke, but I get deja vu, but my dreams are insane. I will say that.
There you go. See? So what are these scientists talking about? You know?
White Boy Wizard said, you'll have to let me know how that keto goes. Been thinking of that, or even carnivore. All this good meat, my own chicken, should probably do carnivore. Carnivore and keto, same thing. You're going into both ketosis if you're going carnivore. Yeah. Sean, tell him about...
Either one would work.
Tell him about your past experience with your keto, about how good that worked.
All right, so whatever it was, you know, because my wife was already on keto, and so it took me a couple weeks after her to actually jump on board. But once I did, it was like this switch that was just flipped. You know, in my mind, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And so basically, in like 8 months, I think it was, I lost like 120 pounds or some shit. I'm a big dude, by the way, but yeah, so I lost 120 pounds in like 8 months, but I did it without cheating. Like I was on keto meals. I was skipping breakfast. Sometimes I was only eating once a day. You know what I mean? I don't know how healthy that is, but I felt great. And at one point towards the end, I went from keto to carnivore. And so basically I was just eating like a steak. And then that was it. Or sometimes I'd have a steak with like some asparagus or some chicken. But for the most part, that was it. And my energy level there was no spike. It was just a straight line of just full energy like all day long. Like, yeah, I don't know. It was great.
I mean, dude, look, I have always said that there is no better diet than keto. Oh, I mean, carnivore included, but it's just the fastest way to lose weight, dude. I mean, I've been on keto for 2 days. I lost 6 pounds already, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it just falls off you. But
once
anyway,
you get into that ketosis state, dude, it's like you're just burning fat like nonstop. You know, so yeah, it's great, and you feel it too, and I think that's what keeps you motivated is because the diet that you're doing, you know, it works, you know, it's burning your fat off, and so it just keeps you motivated. Like you don't want to eat some pasta because then you're gonna get thrown out of ketosis, and then you're gonna have to take a few days to get back into that, and so it just kind of it keeps you motivated to stay locked in. So,
which is funny too, because science and doctors and shit like that will say, well, keto's not good for you. And it's something that, you know, it raises this or it drops that. And it's like,
that's with any diet though, I think.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah. It's
you need
just
a balanced diet. And so I don't know.
You take a pill that they prescribe you, they're going to boost it up all day.
Right. Oh yeah.
The resident Canadian. Yeah. Resident Canadian said, I've been cooking with grass-fed butter, but I'll look into tallow. Louisa said, just saw that they also sell it on Amazon for pretty low. I think 10 pounds is about $80.
Okay.
Right. White Boy Wizard said, just make sure it's grass-fed and finished with tallow. Resident Canadian said, intermittent fasting has always been crucial for me. Dude, I psych myself out of that. Like I feel like whenever I'm restricted for something or from something, it always just makes me want it more. So like I get even hungrier knowing that I can't eat. And so that I just, it can't pass through my brain for some reason for intermittent. I wish it could.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to do something active. With you going to the gym and everything else, and then maybe when you get home, have something else that you already plan on doing, and then, 1 o'clock or whatever time comes around, then eat,
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, there's a technique to it, I'm sure, but I don't know. I mean, keto, if I get hungry, I'll go eat some blackberries or a piece of bacon or something like that, and it makes me happy.
Yeah, and that's the other good thing about keto is like the food that you are allowed to eat is like pretty delicious. It doesn't even feel like you're dieting. Every meal almost feels like you're still kind of cheating a little bit.
Oh, dude.
It's like I can have bacon and shit.
Dude, Louisa made fucking enchiladas tonight. Delicious. The best enchilada. I mean, you got to do the keto tortillas, but the meat is keto, the cheese is keto, the enchilada sauce is keto. Like, it's tits.
Yeah, legit.
So anyhow, let's get back over to Deja Vu. So this is from hackspirit.com, and it says 10 Deja Vu spiritual meanings of being on the right path. This is what I like. This is what I'm interested in. So number 1, Deja Vu can be connected to your dreams. Okay. Dreams and deja vu are both things that scientists have yet to fully explain, and yet all of us experience them at some point in our lives. We can all agree that there's something mystical about them, and we should not disregard them because we simply don't understand them. Sometimes you feel like everything around you has already happened, but it could be because you've dreamed about it so vividly as if you were really there. And when dreams materialize like this so strongly, it's a strong sign that you are walking on your destined path.
I love it. Dude, we're sleeping a third of our life, So like we can't just be so quick to just be like, don't worry about your dreams. It's nothing, It's like, no, I mean, it's a big part of existence or your existence.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't vital to your existence, we would have evolved from the need for it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Number 2.
I heard what's his name? Your boy that you like, but then he said some things. Oh, Sadhguru?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was talking about like when you're sleeping, that's like a time for you to just kind of merge back with existence. And I thought that was really interesting, because as we go through our day, we're being pulled this way or we're being pulled that way. We got to work, we got to make money. There's all these different things, but when you're sleeping, you're just existing. And I thought that was a really cool sentiment.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that the dreams are kind of a reminder to just show us how malleable this world is, in a sense. Like, because the more you look into your dreams and document your dreams and meditate and do all this like extra stuff with your mind in that kind of way, it does make this reality seem a little bit more malleable, and it does make this reality seem not like what you thought it was, because how is it that you can meditate on something or think about something and then you see it on a billboard, or your friend calls and tells you about this, or you turn on Netflix and you see it in a documentary or something. You're like, what? I was just talking about this, This kind of shit happens all the time, and they can't explain it. How do you explain coincidence? How do you explain synchronicity? There's just no scientific explanation behind it, but maybe Resident Canadian in the Mud has a little something to say about that. Go ahead, sir, if you can find the unmute button. That's always a bitch for everybody. All right, well, whenever
just go
you
fuck
find
yourself,
it,
Jonathan.
I guess I will. I'm just fucking myself a lot tonight.
Kills me, man. That's hilarious. We were working one time, and like we were in the yard one morning. This one guy walks by the other guy. He's like, "Hey, Jake, good morning." And Jake didn't say anything. He's like, "I'll go fuck myself then."
Right.
So that makes me laugh. But anyways, boys, I was gonna say a quick story. I live in a condo now, and I bought it, and we've had a guy come in and do work on it, and he's had a sore back lately, so he's only been here about once a week. But I can pinpoint the day he's going to come because I'll have a dream the night before of him coming here. It's a crazy interaction. It'll be like, it won't make any sense, but it's him coming here to work on the condo. I'll wake up the next day. I'll do my thing. I'll get a text from him. "Hey, I'm popping by today to do a few things at the condo." And I'm like, that's just wild. But yeah, I feel like these like synchronicities within my dreams are kind of a sign for things like that. So thought that was pretty interesting.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, a little
Stuff like
premonition
that, it just
style.
seems to feel like magic, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's been pinpoint every time. Like the last 3 weeks he's come every day. Like it'll be a Tuesday, a Thursday. It's not like a specific day in the week. And I'll have the dream the night before. It'll just be him popping in. We'll have a chit chat in my dream. It's like totally normal. And then the next day he'll text me popping in. And I said, I had a feeling you were coming in today. He's like, what are you talking about? So
dreaming with your intuition over there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, and yeah, it is a bitch to find the freaking unmute button, apparently, especially when you're technologically illiterate. I made a new word up, but
there you go.
I'm right there with
We
that.
understood it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's really strange, and I don't know if this is I don't think it's deja vu, but it definitely put me in a weird frame of mind. Earlier, whenever I was over at the gym, today was leg day, so I was doing some squats, and my God, dude, my legs are sore as all fuck right now.
Oh, buddy.
It's horrible. But I was squatting, I turned around, I saw this one guy staring at me, and it almost looked like he was trying to get my attention somehow, but he was on a whole nother machine. It wasn't like he was asking for something, but for some reason, I felt like he was trying to I feel like crazy eyes, you know, when it's like, I think he was trying to cast a spell on me, and he was like, oh, maybe he was just waving, you know, but, but you know, I felt like he was trying to get my attention somehow because he was staring at me, and I looked back and I was like, oh, hey, and I waved at him because I thought that I knew him, but then I just realized, oh no, that's actually just the coach off of Blue Mountain State that I thought that guy was, and it was like a weird thing where I thought it was somebody I knew, and here's just like some character that I never met in reality. So,
wait, that was actually the guy from Blue Mountain State, or he looked like him?
No, it looked like him. I thought that was him, okay. And so that's why I waved to him, which is really strange because I feel like, first of all, why would that coach be staring at me? I don't know. It was just a weird thing that happened, but
hey, maybe he saw your old football days and he wanted to bring you back on scout you.
I mean, hey, I need some kind of reason to build up these old ham hocks, you know?
Right.
That's what I'm saying, Jonathan. I don't know about you, but like, is it a couple days after leg day? Because I don't do legs a lot. I got chicken legs, but a couple days after leg day is the worst for me. It's not the day after. It's like the second day after. I'm like, I can barely pop down to take a shit. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
I was gonna say sitting on the toilet after that always sucks.
Oh, dude,
right. And it's like it always happens to be the time you always end up dropping everything in your hands possible.
Right.
You're at work, you're dropping pencils, and you're like, "Fuck off!"
Right.
Oh, dude, my son dropped his pacifier whenever I went to go pick him up from daycare earlier, and I thought,
never see that again.
Of all days, you had to do it today, and now I have to bend over for this. You know,
you made him pick it up, eh?
No, I had to because his arms
went on
were
Amazon and bought a new one.
Yeah, fuck that pacifier. You ain't getting that thing today. But yeah, really strange. But anyway, all right, let's get back to the article over here. All right, so it says deja vu can be a message from your past. So sometimes when deja vu hits you, you're aware that this is the first time you've ever experienced it, and yet it remains uncannily familiar, like it's something you actually experienced in the past. And that's because you probably did, except in a different lifetime or a different self, according to the past lives theory. Perhaps this moment was a mundane occurrence to you, but echoed a very significant part of your past, like the moment when you had a big revelation or when you found your true love. Oh.
Sometimes I feel like these deja vus happen in the most, like, I don't know, it's not even anything spectacular. Like one time I was just pulling into Burger King with my kids, you know, to get them some not Happy Meals, kids meals. And it was like right at that moment as I was turning in, I was like, oh shit, you know? And so, I don't know, maybe.
It's weird though, because surely you've experienced going to Burger King for your kids or for yourself before, but why did you get the feeling that would be different rather than you just going in there, you know that you've done it before? Why the epiphany type feeling associated with that, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that's the hugest thing about it, dude, is the whole feeling aspect of it, you know? It just like, I don't know. I have no idea, man.
I don't know. Well, it says experiencing deja vu might just be your past self guiding you. So pay extra attention to everything around you, including your feelings, because they hold clues that could guide you to your best life.
See, this is the coolest explanation though, and something I feel like we can garner a lot from, because when I feel like it's always a good time to kind of just sit there and reflect and look at what's going on around you, and you know what I'm saying, anything that you can, like, whether it's synchronicities or what have you, it's like whatever it is that can get you to kind of just like pick your head up and like look around and observe your awareness and being in that particular moment. It's like I feel like that's a good thing all the time.
Oh yeah, dude. And it's like some people, they just don't even question. Why are you here? Why are you encompassed in a body? What made this happen? Are you experiencing it from some VR headset in another reality? Like, is this some kind of matrix that you put yourself in? Are you in some kind of prison planet like the Sumerian scrolls like to say, right? Like,
Right.
there's so many possible different explanations, or you only hear once according to some religions. You're only here once, and depending on how good or how bad you are will determine the next phase of your reality. Like, and so it's not an agreed upon type of thing. And so I think that should lead most people to question it, because it's not something that everybody agrees on, yet we're all here
Yeah.
and we all die. Like, that's like, how is that not an agreed upon thing yet? Of all the years of humanity, of all the lives that have ever lived and have ever died, and we still don't have a logical explanation about what happens the moment you die. Why are you here? Where were you before you got here? And so I think that deja vu almost triggers something like that. It's almost like like it pops you out of whatever algorithm of life that you're currently on, and it shifts you somewhere else, and it helps you realize, oh shit, I just realized, like, almost like you're just waking up in a dream, like that type of feeling,
Yeah, dude. I feel like just existing and being here as opposed to not being here, I feel like that's just like that's huge. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should be talking about this and wondering where we came from. I feel like that's just one of those things that, I don't know, I feel like it's underrated. People are so distracted with bullshit. They don't wonder about these bigger questions.
Yeah. And to be honest, sometimes I just like to keep my mind not even thinking about that, because you can spiral a little bit whenever you're like, why am I here? What do I do? What happens when I die? Where did I come from? I have no idea. Nobody
Right.
gives me an explanation. What the fuck is going on? Like it can cause you to trip out a little bit.
Even if it was a big bang, let's just say scientifically they're right, it was a big bang, but then that explosion became conscious of itself and then started observing the rest of itself and seeing how far away they can see. You know what I mean? It's like, that's nuts to me. That just trips me out, even if that's the correct answer.
Well, I think whenever you have pictures and understandings of space, and maybe the beginning of space, possibly whenever the Big Bang, if that's what happened, actually, like before it happened and after it happened, like you can see that in a picture. It's like, wait a second, how am I seeing past, present, and possibly future just by looking out at the sky? And I think that is kind of like the materialization of the concept of everything exists right now. Like, that's what it embodies.
Yeah, we're just on the edge of whatever that was when it happened. I think that's kind of the way that they look at it. I still trip out when it comes to, there's only one species of human beings. Like, there's only one. All these other types of animals, there's 20, 100 different species of that particular animal, but humans, just one.
Yeah, it's so wild.
It's kind of weird,
dude.
right?
Like, yeah. It's like, and that's why a lot of people are more likely to believe in aliens or some kind of extra thing with some kind of extra intelligence, because how on earth, if this is the physical reality that we always thought it was, how is it possible that we are in the perfect Goldilocks zone, and that there's no other possible planet that could be in a Goldilocks zone within all of infinity? We're the only ones that got lucky enough.
Yeah. And if there was dinosaurs back in the day, which, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, dude, I hope there really was dinosaurs back in the day, but
I hope
like,
there was too.
How come there isn't dinosaurs now? Or how come, like, once they got destroyed, Earth was just like an Etch-a-Sketch and just kind of like mixed it all up and then just shot out totally different kind of life?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Like,
what's that about?
how is it possible that like there was dinosaurs and during that time there was no humans, but then after dinosaurs got expelled from the planet, then human life pops up? It's like, I don't know. I question a lot of that. And also like whenever you start to look into certain like dinosaur people and you start to discover like certain facts about dinosaur bones, you realize a lot of them were falsified. A lot of them were just people a lot of them were just people trying to make money by saying, look what I uncovered from this dirt. Meanwhile, the first dinosaur bone wasn't even discovered until the 60s. And there has never been an entire set of dinosaur bones ever found. So there's always some dinosaur bones missing. It's like, of all the dinosaurs that have ever existed for multiple millennia, according to Jurassic Park and just history, there's never been a full set of dinosaur bones found. I don't know. It just makes me question it.
That's kind of strange. It's kind of strange.
That's like,
and also, how come there is never new cemeteries? Same ones. What are they doing? They're just putting people on top of each other. You see new apartments. I've seen this video, so this isn't my idea or anything like that. But yeah, there was this guy who was like, how come you don't ever see more funeral homes popping up, but you always see more apartments popping up? Where are they putting these people is what I'm saying. Unless most people are getting cremated or something like that. Maybe.
I mean, it is the cheaper route, but you're talking about all the people. I don't know when we started burying people in a cemetery. I don't know how far that goes back, but I can imagine that it probably goes back at least a couple hundred years, right?
Yeah, dude. Like over in my area, there's like the same 3 cemeteries that I know of. You know what I'm saying? And it's like there's never a new one that like pops up down the road, like because they ran out of space or anything. Just, I don't know. Just strange.
I don't know. I question all that shit. But anyway, let's get back to where we were over here. So deja, another explanation is that deja vu means you have a strong spiritual connection. It says there is that feeling of familiarity when you experience deja vu, and the reason could be because you have strong connections to the spiritual realm. Deja vu is a phenomena that can tell you when this connection is sufficiently powerful. You see, as you grow spiritually, your third eye will also start to open, baby. Let's go.
Oh, shit.
Actually, what I tell all the cult members over at the Cult of Conspiracy is that the whole reason why the Cult of Conspiracy was created was to help you open up your third eye. But once your third eye is already open, you come to fucking Meta Mysteries.
That's
baby.
right. That's right. Once your paradigm has already been completely shattered, come over to Meta Mysteries and maybe start to build a better one.
Yeah. Build on top of that.
It's crazy to go trying stuff.
Sometimes it be. So yeah, it says that's when you keep experiencing deja vu. It pays to look into getting in touch with your spirituality. Yes, it does. Number 4, deja vu can be the higher being at work.
Oh,
okay.
Higher being as in your higher self.
Possibly, or guides, or angels, or I don't know, Pleiadians. Who knows? It says, we are but mundane beings trying to get in touch with our spirituality the best we can. And so through prayer, meditation, and contemplation, we try to reach out to the divine to talk to and hear from a higher being. I like how they said contemplation. That goes back to Neoplatonism. Yeah.
Yep.
That, you know, the nous is always contemplating on the one, and then so on and so forth, the whole thing. It says deja vu and other difficult to explain occurrences like seeing angel numbers are some of the more common ways we receive messages from the spiritual world. The divine is so far beyond our comprehension that when we receive our answers from a higher being, it's often in the way that isn't immediately obvious. But they still stand out nonetheless, and when you notice these, it's time to pay close attention. It might just be that something big is about to happen in your life.
Oh, shit.
I hope so.
I love this shit.
Number 5, deja vu can hold the key to your innermost desires.
Okay. All right. That day it was Burger King.
Maybe it just goes beyond that. Maybe it's like, here I am. I'm able to be a father and provide for my children. And maybe that was your innermost desire, was to be able to have that ability to do so.
Dude. It's the best, man. It's the best.
So it says the divine has many ways to tell your consciousness what you really want, and one common way is through an episode of Deja Vu. Some experts believe that your brain could be extremely fixated on something, and that's why you have a feeling like you've seen all these things happen before. Those are your desires being made visible in your mind. Don't just move on with your life as if the deja vu is nothing special. It must be investigated because it could tell you what it is that you truly want in this life.
That's cool. Like I said, anything that's gonna get you to pick your head up and just kind of smell the roses, just for a minute, you know.
That's all we need.
That's what we need to be doing a lot more often.
So, could deja vu be your gut feeling begging you to be noticed? Oh,
okay.
Right. Or the intuition, gut feeling, same difference. It says deja vu can be influenced by your subconscious. There's a popular claim that we only use 10% of our brains, but this is wrong, and studies have shown that we use far more than that for even the most basic of tasks. You have a subconscious mind that's always working in the background, even after you've gone to sleep. It influences your dreams, your thoughts, and occasionally even intrudes into your waking mind. Random memories that are stored into your subconscious could resurface anytime you are not completely aware of, and so it feels like you've done all of this before. Well, if it's not your consciousness telling you to remember these things, then it must be your subconscious. Others could call this gut instinct. It might be telling you something about what you're going through right now. What do you think that your deja vu is trying to tell you? What do you think your deja vu is trying to tell you? Then you should probably use it as a guide to finding your path.
That's it. See, and this is stuff that we can actually get something out of, rather than just saying, oh, your brain's probably not as healthy as it should be. Like, you don't get nothing from that besides being scared that something's fucking wrong with your brain. But when you can use it like this as a tool, and like, what should I do now? And let me really reflect on myself. And this is something you can actually use to better your life.
No, Sean. If you're having deja vu, then you're clearly liberal.
God, all right. That's it. God damn it. All right.
Fuck, here I was. I thought I wasn't political, and deja vu is telling me I am.
Yep.
You know,
deja vu got me. Yep.
Shit. Number 7. Deja vu is the universe telling you to live in the moment. The universe is a living entity that constantly moves with us. If you feel like there is always a greater power at work, something that shapes our destinies, that is the divine doing its job. Because of the many things that influence our lives, we forget to stop and listen to the power of the world moving us. When you experience deja vu, it's like you are jolted and shocked into the present, so much that you feel like you felt everything twice. It is a sign from the universe telling you to be more immersed in what you are doing and be more involved in the present, because it could lead you to the right path.
That is pretty brilliant, actually, because I feel like that's exactly what you're feeling. Like, you're not feeling really anything other than, oh wow, like, look at my environment. I'm right here, right now. Like, dude, that's probably the best one.
I think they're probably all happening. To be honest, like, there's not one of these that I was like, that's probably not happening. You know, it's probably a little combination of all of them in a way.
Right. But depending on what you're going through, or what, you know, in this moment in time, pick one of those, right? Whatever's going to serve you the most.
Exactly. Yes, I'm happy you put it that way. Whatever's going to serve you the most, because ultimately it's up to your interpretation anyway. And what are you going to do with that interpretation? Because clearly there is something extra going on when you have deja vu. Are you going to use it to boost up something? Or are you going to use it to bring you down? Or are you just going to say, no big deal, just a weird coincidence. I'm not even going to think about it. Like, there's multiple ways about how you can take information and apply it. And I think that the information that you receive whenever you're having a deja vu stint, you can apply it to something more positive. You can look at it, and that's not to say that that's not what's happening. It probably is what's happening, to be honest with you, because we are spiritual beings living a human existence. So why not take the deja vu spiritual thing that seems spiritual to me? Why not take that and use it to the best of its advantage, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love everything you just said, my dude.
So number 8. I just read that one. Number 9, deja vu can serve as a kind of warning. Okay.
Cool.
If the universe is trying to tell you something, not all of it is good news. Other times you have to be extra vigilant that something unpleasant is about to happen. Just whenever I said I agreed with all of them, it had to go with this one.
Dude, I feel like I went several years, dude. Like that was my constant state of mind. Like, oh, something bad's about to happen, especially when things are going really good. You know, when everything's pretty chill, like we got enough money to get everything we need, all of the bills are paid. That's when my anxiety would go up the most. Like, what boogeyman's around the corner? Because there has to be one. Right now, in this moment, I'm feeling way too relaxed and enjoying myself.
Well, and that anxiety and that fear and that negative speak probably manifested itself most of those times, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So anyway, but this says it might be that it is something that you shouldn't have to go through, and that is why you have deja vu. It serves as a warning signal that you should stay on your toes so you can deflect the negative event coming your way. A deja vu can be overwhelming, but you have to replay it in detail so that you may decode the warning and circumvent the bad experience. I don't buy this one. I'm sorry. That's not necessarily what I never think like, oh, I got deja vu. Got to be on the lookout. That's never what I feel.
No, you're just immersed in the experience of it. Kind of like a dream. In a dream, you're never like, oh, what subconscious messages am I getting in this dream right now? Yeah, sure, you can look at that after the fact. You know what I'm saying? But when you're in the dream, you're just in the experience of it. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Weird. The final one is deja vu can mean your life is about to change. It says repeated experiences of deja vu can mean that something in your life is about to change. This is especially true if you're noticing other signs like seeing angel numbers and having strange dreams. In general, this change is most likely going to be good for you, so don't worry. In general, even if there's a risk for hardship or uncertainty in the immediate future, you'll see that it's all worth it in the end. So that's why you should keep your head held high and believe that things will turn out well for you because you are indeed being led to the right path. I feel like that contradicts number 9.
Develop that pronoia. Man, this is something I wish I would have known so long ago. You know, just assuming things are going to work out the best possible. You know, like if you just do that, then you're looking for that validation in your everyday life. You're looking for the good things that are coming to you because in your mind, you know they have to be coming, you know, and so then you would just see more of it. It's so simple, I know, but
I mean, it's so simple. It sounds wrong.
Yeah,
you know,
right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So there's another website that I thought was pretty funny. This is actually a Christian understanding of it, which
all right. I was actually really, when you mentioned that, as far as like the religious understandings of it, I was actually very intrigued. I want to see where this goes.
Well, it says deja vu is more common than you think. They say, I've experienced this many times, and you probably have too. About 2/3 of the population reports deja vu experiences, according to a report in the Current Directions in Psychological Science. So that's where it came from. Okay. But the scientific world can't settle on the root of deja vu. According to research, deja vu can come from mental disorders like anxiety, dissociative identity disorder, or schizophrenia. Deja vu can come from medical disorders like epilepsy, and some pharmaceutical drugs can cause this already seen experiences. Other researchers point to memory-based origins. So we already kind of went through that, but let's see. Because some people were, I guess, asking if could this be a familiar spirit? Could this be God? Could this be an angel? I mean, we all experience it. So,
and it go right to demon.
And it's usually like a pretty positive experience. Like it's exciting, you know? Okay. So somebody asked the question, is it really a familiar spirit? Some prophetic people point to deja vu as a deep prophetic experience. Could it be possible that God is using what feels like deja vu to communicate his truths? Or is it a familiar spirit? Is it witchcraft? Some witches seem to feel this is a gift. One witch who claims to experience deja vu 3 times a week was advised by another witch that she had a gift. Another witch claims deja vu is a sign of being a witch. So 75% of people are witches now. Yep. So it says some paranormalists insist it's precognition, and still others point to a connection with a past life. Deja vu is mentioned nowhere in the Bible, but one thing is certain. It is not a spiritual gift. This is not the gift of prophecy. It's not the word of knowledge. Scripture is very clear that some supernatural communications and expressions come from God's Spirit, while others come from evil forces.
I like how you changed your tone for that whole thing. Really pulled me in.
I was really trying to bring back my, just my 1600s voice, just
Right.
real about it. But it says, could what feels like deja vu be God showing you something? Possibly, but it gives its connection to witches and the paranormal. The concept of deja vu does not belong in the prophetic person's spiritual vocabulary of God's expressions. At best, it's likely a similar memory that's buried in your subconscious. At worst, it's witchcraft.
See what I'm saying? These things that seem to be like the most spiritual experiences you can have as a human being, that's when God is not present. He's like, nope, that wasn't me. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
It's always evil.
And then witchcraft.
I'm like, it seems that the devil is a lot more present here than what anyway, I'm not going there.
Seems to be.
But anyway, so I just thought that was pretty interesting. They brought up about how it could be witchcraft, which leads us to witcheslore.com.
There we go. All right.
The strange world of Deja Rèvè and Deja Vu.
Okay.
All right. It says, have you ever had a moment where you felt an uncanny and inexplicable sense of familiarity? Perhaps you were struck by an unshakable conviction that you had witnessed or experienced a new situation before, even though logically that seemed impossible. You are certainly not alone. If so, the strange sensations known as deja vu and deja rêvé have puzzled people for centuries with their bizarre bending of time and reality. These intriguing phenomena have long intrigued philosophers, scientists, and everyday folk alike. References to similar experiences date back to ancient Greek and Roman writings, with Plato even mentioning something akin to deja vu in his dialogue from Parmenides. I don't know how to say that one. Over the years, countless theories have attempted to explain the root causes, from mystical ideas involving past lives and precognition to neurological hypotheses centered around glitches in the brain wiring and memory processing. Yet consensus remains elusive, leaving their nature shrouded in mystery. For many who've experienced one of these uncanny feelings, the strangeness lingers long after. I still recall vividly my first deja vu as a teenager when walking down a busy street triggered an overwhelming conviction that I had been there before in that exact moment, despite knowing rationally that it was impossible. The fleeting yet unshakable sensation unsettled me for days as I wondered what had caused my perception and memory to bend so strangely. It was this lasting intrigue that first sparked my fascination with exploring the curious world of deja vu and deja rêvé. In this chapter, I aim to delve deeper into the nature of both phenomena, sharing what is currently understood as well as speculative theories from diverse perspectives. My hope is that considering various viewpoints may help shed light on these perplexing distortions of time and reality that continue to mystify. So join me now as we embark on an exploration of the strange and thought-provoking territory of deja vu and deja rêvé. So, deja rêvé, when dreams foretell the future. Let's go. The strange sensation known as deja rêvé involves an even more perplexing bending of time and reality than deja vu. Translating to already dreamed, it refers to experiencing a strong sensation of familiarity upon encountering a new situation with the uncanny conviction that the exact scenario was foreseen in a previous dream. While the causes remain mysterious, reports from those who experienced deja rêvé firsthand provide intriguing clues into its nature. Perhaps the most puzzling aspect is that, unlike deja vu occurring spontaneously in waking life, deja rêvé connects a dream from the past with a future event. Vivid dreams are recounted in detail, depicting scenes, conversations, locations, or other specifics that individuals are certain they have not actually experienced yet. But months or even sometimes years later, they find themselves participants in precisely the same scenario played out before them, down to the finest details. One study documented a woman's dream of her mother asking about a planned family vacation in their kitchen. She was dismissive of the dream at the time. However, several months later, the exact conversation occurred between them word for word as she had foreseen. Another striking case involved a man who dreamed of a newspaper headline and photograph years before randomly coming across the published clipping, now a reality matching his dream vision. Ooh, that would be sketchy. While memory is fallible and coincidences do occur, the conviction and clarity reported in many Deja Rèvè cases is uncanny. Skeptics argue future events may unconsciously influence dreams through intuition or precognition without a literal predictive element. However, for those who've lived the experience, the sensation of reliving a predicted dream reality is unshakably strong. Could such cases offer a glimpse into a layer of consciousness with foresight beyond linear time? Further research on dream content and future matching is helping uncover clues to the enigma of Deja Rèvè. That was cool. I like that part.
There's an experience actually that I had just recently. We found out, I guess we're going to this place for a company picnic, and when I found out the place that we were going to, it triggered a memory of a dream that I had like 2 months ago. So I'll check back with you guys and let you know if I have a deja vu that day, because that would be pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Or if what happened in your dream actually does happen.
Right.
At that event.
Well, see, for the most part, it was pretty fleeting. I only really remember like the environment and kind of like what type of place it was. But for the most part, I don't have any of the details. So that's why I'm looking forward to seeing if there's any kind of deja vu, and that would kind of just validate, But now that I'm looking for it, I don't know if that does anything. But
well, I mean, I would say that that's just going to make you a little bit more aware, and maybe your awareness about having experienced something in your dream and then carrying that feeling and a little bit of the details into the reality of that situation here soon, then you might look at that layout of wherever that event is going to be held and be like, oh my God. You'd be like, fucking, that's so Raven, like,
right. Yeah, dude. Yeah, and it's funny because we found out where we were going to be going like 2 weeks ago, but then, and I had this dream maybe like 2 months ago or a month and a half ago, and just today randomly, it wasn't like I found out where we were going. I understood where we were going to go, and I understood what that place looked like. But then today I was at work, and all of a sudden it just hit me. And I was like getting like this memory of a dream that I had. And I don't know, it's super strange.
Whoa. All right. Well, we'll keep you up to date on that then.
Yeah, we'll find out what happens.
So, deja vu now, glimpses beyond the boundaries of time. Says, while Deja Rèvè is an uncanny foretelling of the future through dreams, deja vu involves a more immediate yet equally perplexing distortion of perception. The feeling it evokes, even if fleeting, can be profoundly unsettling, an overwhelming sense that the present moment has inexplicably occurred before, though logically impossible. Estimates suggest 2/3 of people experience it. Neuroscientists, they think that it's neurological origins, which we already have read. More speculative viewpoints consider possibilities beyond what's understood of the physical brain alone. Some envision deja vu as a momentary glimpse leaking through from parallel realities, the time experienced non-linearly on other planes.
Yeah, see, this is the other one that I think I really favor, only because I think that would be pretty cool. Like if there was another you and there isn't multiverse and there's an infinite amount of Jonathans out there doing some wild shit, it's like, and you're just like blurring the lines and you're kind of just getting a little bit of a glimpse, not everything, just a little bit, just enough to feel it. That would be pretty cool. Like when you get turn on your radio and sometimes you can hear 2 stations going at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're just hitting that moment where you're just kind of in between. Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, I hope that it's multidimensional. I mean, they've already, even scientists have confirmed that there's like 11 or 12 dimensions or whatever it is. That's what they've been able to count up to mathematically anyway.
Mm-hmm. Like the map allows for it.
Yeah. Which is pretty strange. And so it says, perhaps in an instant, timelines intersect and we perceive the same moment is happening twice over. Quantum theories have also linked deja vu to observations of probability waves in parallel worlds influencing each other. Regardless of the cause, the fleeting yet unshakable quality of deja vu continues to mystify. While it may stem from subtle neurological anomalies, pondering broader implications like multidimensional leakage keeps deja vu an intriguing enigma. As with Deja Rèvè, does it hint that linear time and three-dimensional reality represent only a narrow slice of the existence? Further research may someday shed new light on these bizarre perceptual anomalies, warping our usual experience of space-time. So, in the end, both Deja Rèvè and Deja Vu remain neurological oddities without a single agreed-upon explanation. But pondering their possibilities leads down fascinating mental rabbit holes. Have you experienced either sensation? Let's keep on going. So, there's another thing that I wanted to mention here. This is only like the last thing that we'll read. And this is from learning-mind.com.
Oh, okay.
It says, there is a hypothesis that sometimes the perceived information gets to the memory area sooner than the area of the primary analysis. Thus, the brain, comparing the situation with its neurocopy already received by the memory, concludes that it already happened before. So this
Kind of interesting.
This is what I think is a possibility as to what's happening. I think that, our brains are wired in such a way to see past, present, and future. And sometimes our soul leaks through all of its possibilities and all of its like superpowers. Your soul, maybe it's your consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Maybe they're different things. Maybe they're the same thing. Maybe it's your spirit, whatever it is. But whatever that is, it can perceive all timelines all the time, right? Like whenever it's probably not being bogged down by having the limitation of the human body and the human brain, whenever it's actually free to be able to perceive all that is, like the same thing that you experience whenever you go through a past life and at the end of the past life, bang, all the answers are there just magically. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's because being in the human body, it limits a lot of the perceptions and the brain function ability and the different levels of understanding because it's very narrow, but it has to be narrow. And that's why this place has to be some kind of school, because it's like Superman without his superpowers. Everybody's Clark Kent, but whenever you die, you're Superman kind of thing.
Right.
And maybe that's a possible thing that's going on, but sometimes Superman leaks through, and that's whenever, all right, well, maybe you can perceive the future, you can perceive the past, you can perceive all the alternate dimensions, you can perceive all of the ethereal entities or the ethereal powers and all this other kind of stuff. Sometimes there's a little bug in the system that allows that peephole to show itself. And I think that that's probably what's happening. If I have to make my best guess, I think that that's probably what's happening in some kind of way. It's just the tiniest little glitch in the human system that allows 100% of you to be able to perceive your reality. And our brain doesn't know what to do with that kind of information, because even as you're perceiving it, you're still limited in your understanding of how it's actually working, right? And so is it possible that you're just like, oh, that was weird, or maybe that happened in a past life, or maybe that happened on an alternate timeline, or maybe that's going on in another dimension, or maybe my spirit guides or whatever is trying to show me something, because we don't know what to do with it because our brain is still at a limited percent. It's not all that is your mind, the mega mind of a human, all the amazing capabilities that our mind is able to do, all the things that it's able to do. It is the world's best computer. Like there is no computer that could even come close. And yeah, I know that there's AI and there's computers out there that can do math real fast or whatever, but they're limited on doing those things, those calculations. That's what they're good at. Those pictures, those AI songs or whatever. That AI thing is not going to get up and dance. It's not going to stand up and have an original thought. It's not going to have a desire or a fear or a dream or anything like that. It's limited. It's not going to go in the kitchen and cook you up a meal. It's not going to go pick your kid up from daycare, It's not like it's limited in that sense, whereas that's where we fill in as, these amazing machines that the human body is, although limited compared to what we probably naturally are, what we are in our dreams or what we are whenever we're not human or whatever. But the expansive self that you experience in meditation, that version of yourself or that version of reality that you experience in meditation, that's who we really are. It's just that, we have this human body and we're limited. And so this is the limited functioning capabilities of the mind to try and perceive what deja vu actually is.
Right. And we do that. And a lot of that isn't our fault. Sure, there's a lot of programming, a lot of things that we've experienced that put us in this mindset of limitations. But we limit ourselves, And so there was a thing that I just saw recently, and you had mentioned it earlier as far as we only use 10% of our brain. But the real story behind that is actually that we only understand 10% of the brain as far as its potentiality. And so I think that's where that other 90%, that's what we need to tap into.
Yes, 100%. And there's so many different ways we talk about it all the time, which is why we're so obsessed with this kind of information, because you get to understand just how supernatural you are, whenever you start to read, and not even just how supernatural you are, but it allows you to open the door to see examples of how other people have achieved the supernatural or seemingly the supernatural. And it makes you curious if you can do the same thing, because you're made up of the same kind of material. Right. We all have the same shit. So if somebody can levitate, then you could probably figure out how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Eventually. I'm sure it takes years and plenty of time, but I don't know. If I see somebody that can do something amazing like that, like I know I'm never going to be Kevin Garnett. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not going to be able to dunk a basketball, but whenever I see a guru levitating a foot off the ground, I'm like, I bet I can do that one day, Right.
Yeah, you got the ingredients for that, dude.
Yes.
It takes it out. Once you see it, it just takes it out of that realm of impossibility. Okay, someone's doing it,
Somebody is, right. So this is just going on with this learning-mind.com, their explanation. They bring in bioelectricity, thought forms, and quantum physics into the deja vu conversation.
Interesting thought forms.
The human brain works with the help of bioelectricity. It receives bioelectric energy from the whole body and itself. The two hemispheres of the brain concentrate energies in different ways. The left hemisphere concentrates electrical impulses with a negative charge, and the right hemisphere, the ones with a positive charge. The potential difference results in a manifold increase of the incoming electrical energy of low-frequency waves, but there is also a high-frequency current which is perceived by our brain and body as a whole from the environment. This high-frequency subtle energy is used by our nervous systems to provide all physiological and psychological functions. Science has long proven that no man or any other living being can survive without bioelectricity. At the same time, the brain can also produce this kind of energy. This happens during the process of thinking because, as a result of mental activity, dense electricity is converted into the subtle. Subtle energy has been known to man for a long time. Psychologists call it mental energy. In 1943, Warren McCulloch and Walter Pitts suggested an elementary particle of this energy called a psychon, Psychon, an analog of the electron and the dense energy. Psychophysical studies have shown that thinking is primarily a process of producing subtle electricities with certain characteristics of information. Psychology cannot yet describe in detail this feature of our thought forms, but experimental achievements in the field of quantum physics hint at the possibility of the existence of thought forms as an energy simultaneously in different spatio-temporal continuities. So, kind of what it's saying here is that, a thought form is basically an energy that is simultaneously in different time-space continuities. Mm-hmm. So it does exist just in a different time-space or space-time.
Holy shit.
So that's pretty freaking cool. Experiments show that quantum particles can exist in different places at the same time. Astrophysics contribute to this possibility with the discovery that light from distant stars come to us from the past, present, and future simultaneously. I didn't know that.
Right. Well, I mean, it takes light time to travel. You know what I'm saying? But that light is being emitted from that star at the moment, but the light that you're seeing was emitted. You know what I mean? Like millions of years ago, or what have you.
No, yeah, I know it's coming from the past, but for it to come from the future, explain that one.
No, I can't explain that one.
I don't know. It says, so what connection does all of this have with deja vu? It says, thus, if a person is experiencing deja vu, it may be the result of the information brought by their strong thought forms from the past or future. Whoo!
Holy shit, dude.
It could be that we have a wonderful and mysterious thing at first glance, possibly to obtain information from different spatio-temporal continuities connected with us through our thought forms. Very strong, sustained thought forms are created under the influence of strong emotions and motivations. So you have to be positive and know that it's a possibility, right? So you have the strong emotions and motivations help influence what possibly could be in the future.
Right.
It says, therefore, very emotional people with dominant behavior are most likely to experience deja vu. Interesting, a little bit different than being a dummy, and that's why you experience deja vu.
Right.
So very
It's all over the
emotional,
place.
very emotional people with dominant behavior rather. Okay. Well, it says deja vu is not a mental disorder, and there is no need to worry if you are experiencing it. Try to get the emotional satisfaction of this phenomena, and the fear will disappear immediately. Hopefully, further studies on the deja vu phenomena will help make sense of it and use it to explore the abilities of our amazing brains. That's the kind of shit that I like right there.
Yeah, dude. That's probably my favorite kind of stuff. Sure, I can't understand a lot of this, but as far as the power of the mind, dude, that's where it's at. That's where our reality sits, you know?
Oh yeah, dude. So I just thought it was pretty cool that it could possibly be pulling information from the future. You know, like that was the coolest thing, because from what they were saying, that some of the light, even from stars, we're getting from the future, which blows my mind.
Yeah, that's a trip. I can't make sense of that at all, dude. But then again, make sense of having a premonition, you know, in your dream and then seeing it the next day. I can't explain that either, but I've also experienced it. So
no logical explanation.
Just because it
whatsoever.
doesn't make sense, it doesn't seem logical, doesn't mean it's impossible.
Right. So now we get over to your boy Bashar. Set aside your political hate that you may have for this gentleman. That's totally fine. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. And so I've grown to accept the good in people without, you know what I mean? Like, and not just being like, well, this person said this one thing, because I've said a lot of dumb shit in the past, and I'm sure people can judge me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the same person I am today as I was 2 years ago. That's for sure.
Right. Definitely can't judge people by how they view things politically. I mean, I guess you can, you know what I mean, but I'd rather not, since the whole political thing was designed to divide people anyways, you know? I'm not going to play that game.
Don't play that shit. So here's Bashar. It's a bit of a longer video, but I feel like he does a pretty good job. It's actually Daryl Longa. He's not channeling this, but this is the information that he got from channeling Bashar.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's see. Oh, here we go.
An overlap. But it can also happen because on the spirit level, especially in dream time, you might actually lay out what you're going to do in physical reality like a blueprint, and you might forget you did that. But when you actually experience it, you go, oh, wait a minute, this seems familiar. I've done this before. Yeah, up there. Or in another parallel reality, another version of you did it, and you overlapped, and now you're aware of the fact that it's happened in another reality, and that's why it feels at the same time like I've done this before, and I know what's about to happen because I've done this before. So you're actually looking at two different arrows of time, forward and backward, simultaneously because of the overlap between this reality and another reality, whether it's physical or non-physical.
Nice. So I just had like an aha moment. I was like, yeah, I get it.
Because as I said, to change your experience of reality, remember, you're not changing the reality for someone else, but to change the experience of the reality, you have to again, follow your belief system and find out what you believe to be true. Again, the reason Bashar gives us the formula of acting on your passion to the best you can with no insistence on the outcome is that's what reveals to you in the process what your beliefs actually are that are out of alignment with your true self. So that's why he brings everything back to that formula and back to that toolkit. Because if you do see or experience the idea of other people's fear-based ideas and you give your power away to other authority figures when you don't necessarily agree with what they're doing and so on and so forth, you have every opportunity to change that for your experience. And as we said earlier, it requires not only a combination of changing the belief within you, but it requires speaking in the language of physical reality, which means you must take a physical action that represents that change, or you're not committed to the reality of that change because you're not acting like it's in your behavior. What you know to be true, you do. It's in your behavior. Like if you ask somebody to stand up and walk around, they usually don't sit there and go, well, now let me see. Do I believe I can do that? I don't know. Let me look at my belief system. No, they get up and walk around because they know they can. It's not even a question of belief. They know they can. So when you can convert the idea of a belief into something you know to be true, which is what Bashar is explaining as if you understand the basic structure of existence, you know what you're dealing with, then you can allow yourself to exhibit it in your internal energy and exhibit it in your outward behavior, which is then speaking the language of the higher mind and the physical mind simultaneously. And that is how you transform your experience, no matter what the reality still looks like. Because remember, as he also says, everything serves double duty. Nothing has built-in meaning to it. This sounds funny in our language, but life is meaningless. You're the one that gives it meaning. You instill the meaning you believe to be true in the situation that is fundamentally a set of neutral props. But the meaning you give it is the experience you get out of it. What you put out is what you get back. There's the fourth law again. So knowing that everything can serve double duty brings you back to, well, the look of it doesn't necessarily have to change for me to get a better experience out of it, because I can transform the energy of that into something that works for me, while someone else may need that situation to still look the way it does to get what they need out of it. So I don't necessarily need the situation to change in order to get what I need. However, generally speaking, if you do change yourself internally that way, truly, you will usually start to see a change in the outward reality as well. It just depends on the circumstance and why it needs to change or doesn't need to change. But again, it doesn't really matter because you're getting what fulfills you. And again, the paradox is by being yourself and getting what fulfills you, you're creating in yourself the best example for the other people as well to say, she seems to be doing okay with this. What's her secret? And then you go, well, if you just blah, 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 change this, blah, blah, your belief. Oh, maybe I can do that too. So it's about being living examples as well to other people, because people are always attracted to true displays of power, which means self-empowerment, and they want to know your secret. So it's okay to be that example with your outward actions based on your internal shifts and changes, so that again, you're giving them yet another option to choose that.
That's probably one of my favorite things that he's said, as far as life doesn't have any inherent meaning, but the meaning that you put into it. I feel like that just answers a lot of questions for me, as far as why there are so many different religions, why there are so many different practices of magic, why is there so many, you know what I mean? It's because all of them work should you choose to put in that belief into that thing. If what you put in is what you get out. And so if you put in something into a religion, call it faith or belief, then what you get out of it is everything that belief system should give you. You know what I mean? And that's what it was for. But if you believe that something is going to cause you fear, or it's going to not work out for you, and then you switch it over to spirituality or whatever it is, it's like that's what you're going to get out of it. And then there comes the meaning. The meaning arises.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I actually this is why I believe that Christians will feel like they're getting messages from Jesus, or maybe they'll see Jesus, or they know that it was Jesus. The same thing with the Muslims and Muhammad. The same thing with the what is it called? The Hindus, with all of their certain archetypes and everything. Like it's always some kind of experience that is related to whatever you believe. And it doesn't necessarily mean that your belief is what is. It doesn't mean that you're making it up. And this is the problem, like within psychology and understanding of the mind and the consciousness altogether, is that it's very limited in its way that it understands how belief and everything else is factored into life. You know, like I literally was just talking about how I just started working out and I just started being on keto. Mm-hmm. I know for a fact there's no way I'm already experiencing every single benefit of working out and being on keto, but my mind believes it. And so my mind's working a little bit better and I feel a little bit better, and it's all just a belief. I believe that I put in the work, thus this is what happens whenever I do that. Now, is it actually physically happening? Maybe a little bit, but not 100%. You know what I'm saying?
What you're feeling. But your brain is looking for the validation. It's looking for the benefits that you should be. Eventually, you will be experiencing that physically for sure. But if your brain is constantly looking for that good shit, then that's what your brain's going to find. You know, it's just how it is, man. And I make this shit up.
I think it's actually probably most likely what's going on. I think there's probably many explanations that you can assign to this, but I think is it possible that you are trying to communicate with the etheric realm or the universe or the one or whatever it is, and you're saying, look, I'm putting these emotions and these thought forms and these frequency waves into my mind. This is what I believe. And the universe is like, bet, I'll show you that then. You know what I'm saying? Like I've talked about before about how whenever I first got into all of trying to understand what spirituality is, my first stop was a Christian church. I went to a non-denominational church. And the entire time that I was I went for a year. I said, I'll give it a year and we'll see how it goes, right? Because I was kind of testing the waters with it. But there was a certain point where I absolutely believed in it, right? Like I absolutely believed that every single word of the Bible was as mystical and magical and true as it could possibly be. I believe that Jesus was my Lord and Savior. I believe that he had all these magical healing modalities and that he was God. Like I put myself in that mindset for a year, right? Mm-hmm. And I saw it come to fruition. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, like I got to go and tell everybody. I got to let everybody know that Jesus is out there. He's actually real. God is paving the way, and that there is a predetermined destiny that you are experiencing on a daily basis as long as you believe in him and you don't sin and you do all these good things, right? And the thing is that that's true. Like that actually is true. However, my mind went to, well, this was my first thing, and I want to see, is this just some kind of, I believe in it, so it is true, or is this the actual one true thing? And so then that's whenever I started looking into Hinduism, and I started looking into Buddhism, and I started listening to Sadhguru and Aaron, what is his last name? Aaron Doty on YouTube. I loved him, still love him. And a bunch of other like spiritual advisors that would be able to guide me in the proper direction of trying to understand what this magical reality actually is. And what I found with that is that also works. It also works in the same exact way. You believe in magic, it works. You believe in witchcraft, it works. You believe in Thor and Odin and Loki, that works. Every single thing works. The key ingredient is your belief in it and your positivity towards it. Like it takes both. It can't just be your belief. It has to be your belief. It has to be an undying belief. Like it has to be, even if you know consciously, or you know what, even if you know subconsciously that this can't be true, you can still convince your mind that something is, even if you subconsciously know that it isn't. And that's where the whole idea of tulpas comes in, right?
Yep.
Like that's where you convince yourself that this is the reality that you're going to believe in because you know the profound benefits that you're going to be able to get from it. So whenever we created the tulpa known as Marv, the green alien octopus with the one eye, and he somehow has all these magical properties. And we believe it. Well,
that's it.
Maybe Marv is our guide our guide, right? That's at that point, because I believe it, and it's not necessarily like I'm stupid enough to believe something like that. No, it's actually quite the opposite. It's saying that my belief is so powerful that if I believe in this, then there will be some benefit to gain from it. Right. And that is the centered understanding around tulpas and egregores and belief in general, is that it has to be powered by your own belief with positivity. And no, don't think, don't try to pretend. You have to know it. And this is something that I've talked about in Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Towards the end of the book, he talks about this, is that there is power in faith in that way. And he wasn't talking about religion. He was talking about faith in anything. Like there's absolute power in faith. And so, that's why I love these kinds of episodes, because you can literally, whenever he just said that there literally is no meaning to life other than the meaning that you give it. Mm-hmm. Well, why not use deja vu to your benefit?
Right.
Because it doesn't have any meaning until you apply meaning to it.
Right. Exactly, dude. Yeah, because if that was the case, then I think that there would only be one thing and everybody would just be on board with, that's the truth, because we all have the same feeling about said thing, But there are, how many, 10,000 different religions or something like that, I think we read at one point. I mean, and they all fully believe in that thing, and they all garner something positive from it. And so who are we to say that they're wrong for believing that? You know what I mean? It's like this life is so much more than just, oh, well, I don't believe in that or whatever. Like, I feel like if there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? God damn it.
Controversy.
Potentiality. And yeah, dude. And that's what we get to live in, dude.
Yeah, and
I love it.
What's funny is that for literally since the beginning of time, there has been wars that have been religiously fueled. I mean, to be honest, I think that that's probably what's going on right now down in where is it? Israel. Between Israel and Palestine, some people believe that the Israelis should have their own land because it's God-chosen people and all that fun jazz, even though that was in the Old Testament and that was kind of rebuked by the New Testament, and Jesus saying that there isn't necessarily a land for God's chosen people, that everybody is God's chosen people now. But anyway, some people don't believe that. And I think that if somebody actually took their understanding and their experiences of their beliefs and applied it to other people and saw other people also gaining benefit for what they believe in, rather than saying, no, mine's right and yours is wrong, you're blasphemous and that's a completely absurd and that's egregious and all that other shit, and you just be like, oh, that's interesting, my beliefs led me to this, your beliefs led you to the same thing. We have pretty similar understandings about, our spiritual selves.
Right.
Like, how about compare before you contrast? Let's try and do that. Let's try and see where we're all the same in that kind of way, because it is a supernatural thing that goes on with belief. Like, it is something extra. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people that go out Bigfoot hunting, and literally, like, they go out in the woods, they make little Bigfoot calls like, or whatever the fuck they do, right? And somehow they might see a Bigfoot. Maybe they'll see an interdimensional one. Maybe they'll see one with a bunch of babies or whatever, but they put that intention and belief and faith that they were going to see it because they believed that they were special enough to do it, and by God, they saw the damn thing.
Exactly. And this kind of reminds me of the stuff that Stephen Greer has talked about, and say what you will, I don't really know enough about him to form like a full opinion on the dude or whatever, but as far as what they're doing and what he has said, as far as like if there's a non-believer in the crowd, then it kind of inhibits things from happening, you know? And so what's that? Just sheer belief prevented something magical from happening?
Yeah, well,
You
Chris
know?
Bledsoe said that.
Oh, was that who it was? I feel like Stephen Greer was saying something about that too, because they go out and they do like these little retreats and they see like light beings or some shit, you know. And so,
Oh, maybe Stephen Greer said it too. But either way, I
Yeah.
mean, they're both kind of experiencing similar things.
yeah. So I don't know, man.
So anyway, we have one more video we're going to get to. One of my favorite people, somebody that will definitely be at my Nigel Perryman roundtable. And
Shout out Nigel Perryman.
shout out to Nigel, dude, one of the goats. But let me, oh goodness, how do I, there we go. Okay, so this is going to get into Dolores. It's not necessarily deja vu strictly. It's kind of an all-encompassing towards of ideology that you can group in with deja vu, though.
All right, cool.
Lives, past, future, and present are all existing at the same time. And you're living them all at the same time. But you can't know this. The mind couldn't handle it. All you can focus on is this life right now, because that's where we're focused. Imagine how disturbing it would be if you knew about all these other lives you were living in the past, if you had it all in your memory right now, or knew of all the lives you're going to live. Your mind couldn't handle it. You know, I always wonder, I think a lot of people in these mental hospitals probably don't need to be there. There are just things going on the doctors don't understand, that they're experiencing these things and not really knowing what it is. But you have to focus on this life right now, because this is where you are. But it is really all going on at the same time. Remember in my Nostradamus books, I was communicating with him while he was alive, living in France, and he kept insisting this, I am not dead. And it came out that this was simultaneous time. It was occurring at the same time that our life now was occurring. It was all interacting at the same time. And that was my first exposure to simultaneous time. But they said, all of the lives we have ever lived are all existing right now. And when we do a past life regression, I just tune in, I guess, like a radio, and we go to that life that person is living, that they need. But it's all happening at the same time. And see, it even gets a lot more, even more complicated too. You don't know how much information is coming through my head right now. Okay. But I asked them one time, I said, I don't understand this. Because we know we grow from a baby to a child to an adult. And we have experiences in our life where time is passing. How can it all be happening at the same time? They said it's not happening at the same time because happening means a beginning and an end. It's existing at the same time. It's existing, if that makes it any clearer. The ET said time is an illusion. They said mankind is probably the only species in the universe that's found a way to measure something that does not exist.
Shout out to DC, dude.
It's just humans making things way more
ones that
difficult than
abduct
it needs to be, right?
Yes.
All of our lives.
Goodness. Dolores, calm it down. We already heard you.
All right, Dolores.
Jeez. Stop hogging the show, Dolores. What the fuck?
I know, right?
Trying to come through from the other side.
Lingerer.
Go
All due
ahead.
respect, of course.
All due respect. Yeah, you can linger anytime you want, Dolores.
Yeah, of course.
But resident Canadian in the mud. Go ahead, sir. That damn mute button. Getting everybody.
I figured it out.
There we go.
No, I just because you brought up the Dolores Cannon video, I wanted to ask you personally, Jonathan, because I had recently, after the jabs and stuff like that, I lost my stepdad due to the nonsense or whatever you want to call it. And right after that, I started looking up. The only way for me to cope with it was to look up like afterlife and the realm past this life. And I immediately obviously found Dolores. She's the GOAT in that industry. And my mom's been kind of coming around to terms with things, and she's been kind of asking me for a little bit of spiritual advice. So I told her Dolores Cannon and I grabbed her the book for her birthday was March 7th. So I got her Between Life and Death. And I was just wondering what your opinion on was like for her first Dolores Canyon book, if you thought that might be a good place for her to start, or if there's something else I should look for and get for her.
Yeah, absolutely. I have that book. That's one of my favorite books because if you can understand what happens between death and life. Now, everybody is more concerned with what happens after death, right? But this is an interesting way of trying to understand how all of this works, this possibility of simultaneous time, and you're living multiple lives at once. You're a kid, you're a grown up, you're an old person all at the same time. The between death and life is the interesting part. Like, and that definitely that aligns with the idea of like reincarnation, obviously. And so if you believe in reincarnation, which, you know, even the one of the laws of thermodynamics says energy can't be created nor destroyed, that kind of leads a little bit of credence that way. And also, if you think about it, you know, you could see how some religions would not want to include reincarnation, because if you knew that you could live this life and then come back again, then their fear tactics probably wouldn't work. And we know for sure that religion is the most ancient form of government. Like this is like mass hypnosis all at one time whenever you look into religion, and not saying that it's entirely negative. I'm not saying that at all. I think that a lot of people have found religion to be very helpful and very helpful in their lives, right? But, you know, whenever you look into what happens before you come here, this is why I always say, like, whenever you're thinking about like, all right, everybody's so much more concerned about where you go whenever you die. Nobody questions about where you were before you were here. And that book right there does a really good job at it. And I think that if you can swallow the concept of like chew up and swallow, obviously don't swallow it whole, but if you can chew up into pieces and try and swallow the concept that you were somewhere before you were here, then the idea of reincarnation becomes easier, because you obviously knew that you were somewhere before you were here, which would lead you to the idea that you would absolutely go somewhere once you die. Because it's just it's cyclical in that sense, and you can see proof of the cyclical nature of life just in nature alone. Right. I mean, through all the seasons, how many times like you have like certain plants that aren't what are they called? Annuals or whatever the fuck they are. The ones that come up during some seasons and then they die like in the winter
and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like there are certain plants, most plants actually will die in the fall and the winter, and then they'll come back to life in the spring, in the summer. And it's just a never ending cycle. And you see this happening in nature all the time. I mean, how many, like, especially you living in Canada, you see all the dead trees in winter, and somehow spring comes and those things are fucking blossoming. And it's one of the most beautiful sights you can see. Right. So that's kind of the proof, all you need to really look into. And that's why they say that, you know, it's important to look into certain books to try and garner some wisdom. But the most wisdom that you can ever find is within yourself and in nature. Like those are the two best places, and you can see the cycles of reincarnation. So yeah, that is a very, very, very good book. It's not super dense. It kind of gets right to the point, and she shows many of examples of like how that is being proven within the past life regressions.
Oh man, well said. And yeah, you're so right about nature. I mean, you can just look for yourself and see how things work. And if this is going to be something that's going to help her realize the cycle of life, whereas you said just focusing on the death, I think this is going to be a little easier for her to break it down. And I did read that it was one of her more like digestible reads, as far as like I'm new, because my mother, she's new into spirituality. I've been talking about it for a long time, and she's finally like coming to grips with a lot of the conversations that I'm willing to have with her. So for me, it's been really phenomenal being able to have these types of like chats with her. I'm like, I kind of feel like in shock sometimes still with the kind of chats we had. Like, I think I don't know if you were saying the other day that your dad calls you for stuff like that now, or if that was you or if that was Tripley. Sometimes I get these guys confused, but yeah, I like just having these chats with your family. it means a lot to me. And with that being said, I was wondering if you had like maybe if she gets through that one, the second one to read for her. If you could just break that down pretty quick.
Oh God, what is the name of the Convoluted Universe?
That's the one I did look. Yeah, I saw that one. That's
and there's
pretty cool too.
And there's multiple versions. Like there's Convoluted Universe book 1, 2, 3. I think there's a fourth. Dude, she wrote I think 19 books. So
yeah, that's why I'm asking. Yeah.
And actually, even from the grave, she's writing new books, as I had mentioned before. That's the one I'm currently reading right now. And it's really cool, dude, because you're seeing everything that can come from a past life regression. And some people will say, well, that's just your mind making it up. Well, how do you know your mind's not making up this reality too? So there you go. Right. You know what I mean? Like this could all just be one massive collective trip that we think that we're experiencing as individuals. And yet here we are, we're everybody, you know, like there's that possibility, you know? So yeah, I think that, you know, this information isn't for everybody. This is why so many people would disagree with it, because if you accepted certain modalities like that we're mentioning, life after death and life before or death before life, you know, those kind of transitions, if you accept those to be true, then it kind of abolishes a lot of religions out there. And this is why I think that unfortunately, this is why you're going to get people that disagree and won't even look into this kind of stuff. They'll call it blasphemous. That's why we're not trying to preach to the masses. We hope eventually the masses start to come around, but it's this information. It's for the initiated. It's for the people who are searching for the truth. It's for the people that know that what we live in is absolutely not what we've been told. And I think that's a great book, dude. That's a great book to get that ball rolling.
Brother. And I think that the true religion is so powerful that they have to hide it with the other religions that kind of convolute it and make it seem more drastic than it really should be, right? Whereas religion should be a spiritual thing where you're just loving one another and following basic principle rules and not making it so confusing and just, you know. Anyways, man, I really appreciate the advice. And you said what was the second book there?
Convoluted Universe.
Yeah, Convoluted Universe. Okay, so I'll definitely grab that on the Amazon wish list, if you will.
Yeah, that was actually the first one I read, and I was like, oh my God, I see why she's calling it convoluted, because there's no one right thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great word for it, man. That's a great word for it. She nailed that.
Yeah, she did. She was ahead of her time.
She so was, man. She so was. And like you said, she's still out there in some form, so.
Yeah, she's definitely out there. I mean, come on. Maybe she's already reincarnated somewhere, but if we're talking about the cycles of time, everything's all happening at once, we could kind of be talking like whenever we try and communicate with Dolores Cannon, no matter how you do it, whether it's in your dreams or in, you know, meditation or whatever, it's possible that you are technically communicating with her in real time in the time that she was alive, which is kind of what she was talking about with Nostradamus. You know, that Nostradamus, yeah. she wasn't talking to the old Nostradamus way back when. She was saying that was happening simultaneously. And that's hard for a lot of people to wrap their mind around. But think about it like this. The spirit, the soul, you know what? Even think about it like God. God has to exist outside of the realm of time, right? Yeah. And if we are part of that and we are fractals of God or whatever you believe as far as that is concerned, then we would have to exist outside of time as well. Therefore, our linear understanding of time only makes sense when you're here. It doesn't make sense on the full broad scale. You know what I'm trying to say?
So it's almost like you always exist in a way, like you're forever existing. In some form or capability.
I don't think there's ever been a time where you never not existed.
Well said. Right on, man. Shit, so, this is trippy. You know, I'm an hour behind you guys, so my brain gets a little extra trippy at this time of night. So this fits in perfect for my pre-bedtime conversations.
Hell yeah. Sweet dreams tonight, sir.
Hey, thank you. I'll be enjoying the meditation too, guys.
Hell yeah. All right, cool, man.
Peace, brothers.
Thank you, man. So the white boy wizard said, dinos are fake and gay and dragons are real. And then he said, bro, what the fuck? No new cemetery or funeral homes. And I'm surrounded by old Mormon towns. They don't do cremation. I've never thought about that. Hot damn.
And also that wasn't mine. I saw another guy saying that and I was like, it kind of blew my mind that day.
Yeah. The resident Canadian said they want to make you feel strange or stupid for experiencing meta mysteries.
Oh, shit. That's right. That's what they're doing.
White boy wizard said, I'm a wizard. I don't want to identify as a witch. Then he also said, hope Nora is okay. Said she was real sick last night at the end of the live on the cult, and she's not here. Prayers and loves to Nora. I thought she was here. I could have swore I saw her pop up. Maybe she dipped out.
Nora. Hopefully you're feeling better.
White boy wizard said, I'm the king of dumb shit. Can't ever judge anybody. Big facts. Resident Canadian said, shouts out to Big Marv. Shout out Marv there.
We haven't given him a shout out in a minute. Kind of feel bad.
I mean, we have his sigil on our logo here, so he's with us in spirit at all times.
Right.
And I don't think that he's a jealous God. I'm just going to throw that out.
No, I don't think so at all. He's one of those friends, like when you talk to him, even if it's been like a year, it's like you just pick up right where you left off type of shit.
That's probably true. Yeah. White boy wizard said, I've seen him with Podesta and Clinton too many times for me to trust him. Talking about Stephen Greer.
Yeah, I was looking into it, like a lot of the retreats that they were doing or whatever. He charges a lot, dude. Like, this isn't something that just anybody can just go and spend $80 and go sit out there and look for shit. This is like up there, dude.
Yeah, it's like $1,000 or a couple grand or something like that.
Yeah, it's up there. I want to say it's like $1,500 or $1,800, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but I just know that when I saw the price, I was like, holy shit, maybe I won't be able to do that.
Don't quote me, boy. I ain't said shit. The resident Canadian said, didn't he say we'd see full disclosure by early February? Stephen Greer, yes. That's the problem with a lot of these disclosure type people. They believe that there's a date that you can put onto it. I'm actually somewhat inclined to believe Chris Bledsoe whenever he talks about, I can't remember what month, but it's in 2026, I think. That the lady or something like that is going to show up. I don't know. We're definitely gearing closer. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, mathematically, statistically, we have to be getting closer to that, right?
Yeah, just the way things feel. You can base it off of that as far as people's intuition picking up and dreams are getting kind of strange and things of that nature, But as far as the future goes, I mean, unless the future is happening right now as well. But like the future can always be changed, and so putting out a date, I feel like, I don't know, it can get a little messy.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, people have been waiting on Jesus for over 2,000 years, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He's probably returned a couple times, dude, and they just like locked him away. So,
they're like, oh, here we go, another guy that's saying he's the reincarnation of Jesus.
Right.
What are we gonna do about this?
Fucking guys.
They're expecting some white guy to come out of fucking Iran or something.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, it's just funny. I think that I don't know. I think that something is on the verge of happening. And to be honest, I think that belief could play a lot into it. This is kind of what we were talking about. Whenever you get so many other people on board of a possible alien visitation from another dimension or another planet or another, what was it? Another win. Or whatever, then maybe it manifests itself. I mean, if this reality is but a dream, I mean, let's get fucking lucid up in here, dude.
Right. Yeah. Don't sit there and believe that it's a nightmare. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, for sure. So, Shauno, did you get a card, sir?
I got 2 cards, if you don't mind. For whatever reason, I was like, I pulled one at the beginning of the show, and then I was like, you know what? Let me pull one during the show, and so we got 2. So we'll see what happens.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, what do we got?
Well, the first one I pulled was the Wheel of Fortune, which we've gotten a few times.
Fancy that.
And the other one, if you want to know, is the 3 of Pentacles.
Oh, fancy. We've been getting a lot of Pentacles here lately.
A lot of Pentacles, not the 3 of Pentacles. So I thought that was interesting.
All right. Well, we'll go with the Wheel of Fortune first, since The cards have made themselves known to us. The Wheel of Fortune is the 10th spot, the 10th resting spot of the Fool. It says, the Wheel of Fortune is always turning, illustrating that each moment is temporary and that life is cyclical, not linear. Get the fuck out of here, dude. What?
There you go. You were just... All right.
That's...
All right. I'm sold, dude.
I don't know what to do with that. It says, surrender to the present. The Wheel of Fortune card allows you to gain a deeper understanding of life's cycles of change. Its imagery has mystical, astrological, and occult symbolism, showing that many of the forces influencing our lives are mysterious and invisible. The wheel appears to float through the clouds, indicating that our spiritual path is connected to the physical realm. The creatures in the clouds are zodiac signs: Aquarius for air, Scorpio for water, Taurus for earth, Leo for fire. They represent the stable forces that uphold the wheel itself. Beneath the wheel is Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead, who represents life, death, and rebirth. The Sphinx sits at the top of the wheel, a multifaceted creature representing the diversity of life. The downward-facing snake is symbolic of life's challenges everyone must face. All of the creatures and symbols rotate around the wheel, teaching us that life has its ups and downs in an ever-changing cycle. We must embrace the temporary nature of each moment. Change is the only true constant.
I love it, dude. Surrender to the present moment. And I feel like there's nothing you can do but that during a deja vu.
That is crazy that we get that card. I want to see what's going on here with the Three of Pentacles then.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm looking at the imagery, and I just know that we don't pull this one just by looking at it. And so it's going to be a banger, I think.
It says, Three of Pentacles, the prosperous expansion is at your fingertips as you confidently walk through new doors of opportunity. You've already worked to create balance in your life and are now ready for the expansive opportunities presented by the Three of Pentacles card. Here we see three people gathered in lively conversation, collaborating on a plan that will change their lives for the better. The man standing on the bench is the craftsman. He has valuable expertise and is confidently standing above the other two figures, explaining his vision. Three pentacles carved into the architectural detail show that this collaborative work is stable and long-lasting. The spiritual explanation for that one is increased confidence amidst fears leads you to grow and expand in many ways. Consider working on your skills at public speaking or becoming visibly active within a community. Establishing your presence and growing your audience in your field of expertise will lead to fulfillment. Shout out to the one for that one, baby.
Yes, yes. I have a feeling the guy standing up on a bench is saying, I've seen this before.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
Good shit, man.
Magical right there, sir.
Beautiful.
Sean, I think you're a fucking wizard with your card pulls here.
I don't know, man. Hey, you know what? It's not even me at this point. You know what I mean? I'm just in the flow state, just being in the present moment. That's it, dude.
You're just the vehicle that the divine likes to drive from time to time.
It does. It does.
So anyhow, you know what? I think we're going to wrap it up there. We're still going to be getting into the meditation. But for anybody out there that wants to be able to join us in the meditations and after, this is going to be one of the last few times that we're going to be doing it on the podcast platform, because as I said before, we are going to be moving our shows over to the Cult of Conspiracy podcast. So if you're a listener of the Cult of Conspiracy, then you'll see it there. If you're not a listener of the Cult of Conspiracy, then that's where we will be posting our episodes starting March 31st. And that will be they will be released on Mondays and Fridays. We have decided to just make it one big old platform and just grow it all collectively, because, you know, over at the Cult of Conspiracy, we have multiple podcasters over there posting regularly. We have Josh Monday, the Cosmic Peach, we have Strange Brew, there is the Cajun Night, which is Jacob's live shows, and many more are to come. Oh, also there's the White Rabbit. So it's kind of multiple different perspectives, kind of with the same end goal, which is just gaining more wisdom, gaining the understanding of what the truth actually is. And maybe you look at it from a religious standpoint, in which then you go to the Josh Monday show, which are being released I mean, ironically, not on Monday, but but they are released on Wednesdays and Sundays because that's, you know, whenever typical church service would be. Whereas the Cult or Meta Mysteries will be released Moonday and Friday. So
hey, that'll work, man. That'll work. And you know, maybe some of the Cult members will click on Meta Mysteries by accident. You know what I mean, and then just fuck with it.
It's a possibility. And so since we're going to be moving over there, we decided that we're going to only have the meditation part. That is only going to be on Patreon. Because sometimes commercials interrupt the meditations, which can throw you out a little bit. And also, not everybody's going to be interested in the meditations, or maybe they just want to meditate on their own, and that's totally fine. But if you want to be able to meditate with us, because time is an illusion, and none of this is actually linear like we believe it is, then you would be meditating with the one all at the same time, and that would inevitably power it up in some type of way. So if you want to be able to join us on the meditations, you will have to go to Patreon for that starting March 31st. But good news is that we have decided we're going to be posting videos without the meditation onto YouTube as well. So if you want to be able to see the video version of that, then just go check out youtube.com/@metamysteries. Like I said, you're not going to be able to join the live if you're only watching on YouTube. You're not going to be able to be privy to certain meditations. And so it does have its faults. I don't necessarily say faults, just maybe it's hindrances. But yeah, all the supporters on Patreon, we really appreciate you in the way that you do. And we're going to keep on keeping on. It's just, we're changing it up a little bit. All good things coming in the future, and it works out the best this way. I truly believe that.
Oh yeah, dude. And for all the Patreon people, no further action is necessary. I mean, you're already here. You already know where to go. So, and we're happy that you're here.
Yes, exactly. So, well, since for all of the one that are joining us here tonight on this Wonder Wiz Day, we are going to be getting into a meditation. But for those of you who are not on Patreon, then this is where we leave you. And we like to say, if Deja Vu came here and it taught you anything, it's that you don't know what you don't know. So don't just get weird.
Stay weird.
In a realm where shadows dance with light, through the whispering woods at night, secrets echo through the air, meta mysteries everywhere. Voices drift on winds untamed, words like spells that can't be named. Close your eyes and feel the sound. Journey where no bounds are found. Open doors inside your mind. Leave the ordinary far behind. Colors swirl and stars align. In the meta mysteries you'll find. Power rise from the depths of crystal skies, where the unseen comes to play. Lost in dreams, you lose the day. Chanting truth from ages old. In the unknown, we are bold. Let the podcast guide your sight through the veil of silent night. Waves of cosmic whispers flow through the realms you'll never know. Parallel in every beat, where the mystic stories meet. In a realm where shadows dance with light, through the whispering woods at night, secrets echo through the air, meta mysteries everywhere. Voices drift on winds untamed, words like spells that can't be named. Close your eyes and feel the sound, journey where no bounds are found. Open doors inside your mind, leave the ordinary far behind. Colors swirl and stars align, in the meta mysteries you'll find. Tales of ancient power rise from the depths of crystal skies, where the unseen comes to play. Lost in dreams, you lose the day, chanting truth from ages